Chapter 2244. Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief after destroying the super teleportation portal. Then they joined the crowd and began to discuss how to leave this place. On the other side, Tai Dynasty General's residence. The general's residence was still in ruins and the ground was cracked. However, there were many people around. All of them had powerful auras and cold expressions. They were obviously experts. The one standing at the front was naturally General Xianing. This time he would personally lead a team to the Jianghu dynasty to capture Lin Xian. This was only the vanguard team. After this, there would be a second and third batch of teams. In short, there would be countless experts on the move. In front, the huge super teleportation portal shone brightly. General Xianing took a step forward. Dozens of figures stood beside him. The rest of the people waited on the spot. Because they could not teleport so many people at once, they had to teleport in batches. Let's begin. General Xianing said coldly after he stood up. But there were a few elders around him who quickly cast spells. The super teleportation portal under their feet lit up. Runes rose into the air and wrapped around their bodies. Buzz whoosh. A terrifying spatial energy spread out, but in the next moment, it quickly disappeared like a tide, disappearing without a trace. What's going on? Everyone was puzzled. General Xianying's face also darkened. What's going on? Is there a problem with the teleportation? He was unhappy. Why did so many unlucky things happen to him during this period of time? So he asked coldly, what's going on? Could it be that our teleportation portal is damaged? It's not that our teleportation portal is damaged. Our teleportation portal is intact. It's that there's a problem with the Jianghu dynasty. There's a problem with the Jianghu dynasty? What's going on? Could it be that they turned off the super teleportation portal? Didn't we send them a notice that we're going to teleport over? We don't know. We need to confirm it. A few elders walked down from the teleportation portal. Then they activated another set of teleportation portals. That was the portal for transmitting messages. They wanted to ask the Jianghu dynasty. Half an hour later, these people received the results. The elder said quickly, General, something happened in the Jianghu dynasty's Wanrun city. Something happened? What happened? Did that kid cause a ruckus in Wanrun city? No. There's no news about that kid. But at this moment, there's a beast tide in Wanrun. Moreover, the scale was very large. The city had already been sealed. There was a beast tide and the city was sealed. Hearing this, General Xianying frowned. Could it be that the teleportation array was also destroyed? The exact reason was unknown, but it should have been destroyed. We can't teleport over yet. We can only wait for the other side to be repaired. However, due to the beast tide, it would take some time to repair. If Wanrun City was destroyed, would there be any problems with White Cloud City? White Cloud City was safe. There was no problem. Alright then, let's go to White Cloud City first. No matter what, he had to capture that kid when he reached the Ninely dynasty. These people activated the formation again and prepared to head to White Cloud City. Soon, the light flickered and the figure on the formation disappeared. Ninely dynasty, Wanrun City. At this moment, the city was packed with people. The atmosphere was extremely tense. Around them were endless roars that shattered the void. Terrifying demonic energy shot up into the sky and dyed everything red. But fortunately, Wanrun City had a super strong defense, blocking the attacks that filled the sky. However, there were too many demonic beasts. Among them, there were even some terrifying demon kings. Wanrun City was trembling non-stop. This made these people even more nervous. Whoosh, boom. At this moment, everyone cried out in surprise. This was because dozens of figures had appeared in the sky. They were so dark that they covered the entire sky. Boom. Countless projections landed below. Everyone in the city looked up. They cried out in surprise. Damn it, demonic beast. Oh no, it's lightning birds. Everyone was shocked. These dozens of demonic beasts were extremely terrifying lightning birds. They opened their mouths and spat out bolts of thunder. They landed on the countless light screens and caused a shocking explosion. Boom, boom, boom. Energy exploded and air currents spread. The sky above everyone was penetrated by endless lightning. The terrifying energy made their hearts palpitate. Dozens of lightning birds, each dozens of meters long, spread their wings and circled in the sky. They shot out bolts of lightning and bombarded the formation below. In the city, the martial artists shouted crazily and activated the killing formation to chase away the lightning birds. Boom. Countless lights flickered and runes condensed. Sword chi shot up into the sky and slashed at the sky. Ka ka ka. However, these lightning birds were unusually fierce. Their speed was very fast. They flew quickly in the air and dodged the sword chi. Boom. At this moment, an even larger black figure appeared. It was like a dark cloud that covered the sky. Along with it, the sky was filled with thunderclouds as well as a terrifying demonic aura. Oh no, it's the Lightning King. Damn it, attack. The martial artists below screamed crazily. Even more resplendent energy surged, trying to push back the huge Lightning King. Boom. Boom. However, the Lightning King was too powerful. It was definitely a 7-star demonic beast king. Moreover, it was a mutated beast of heaven and earth. Its strength was even more terrifying. Therefore, in the face of the terrifying sword chi, it stretched out its sharp beast claws and grabbed at the sky, shattering the countless sword chi. Whoosh! It spread its wings and countless lightning bolts descended like two dark clouds. The thunder was too terrifying. It was much more powerful than the previous ones. Therefore, the lightning bolts struck the light screens and caused them to tremble violently. The light screens kept trembling as if they would crack at any time. Oh no, the Lightning King was not an ordinary demonic beast king. It was one of the leaders of this beast tide. Hurry up and stop it or it will be very dangerous. The guards in the city roared and activated the killing array again. Boom. Boom. In the sky, an intense confrontation occurred. Crack. However, after hundreds of moves, a small crack suddenly appeared on the light screen in the sky. Then a small hole appeared. Then, endless lightning bolts poured down and struck down crazily. Boom. 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 The buildings in the city were destroyed and the ground was charred black. Many people were directly hit by the lightning. Some exploded and some were seriously injured and vomited blood. In short, the city was in chaos. Damn it, the array formation was broken. The guards guarding the city had ugly expressions. However, at this moment, a cold snort came from the general's mansion. Then a figure soared into the sky. It was a middle-aged man. His body was emitting light like a sun. Accompanying him was a terrifying aura. Buzz. In the middle-aged man's hand, there was a large black bow that was drawn into a full moon. Boom. In the next moment, a black arrow flew out like black lightning flashing in the sky. Chapter 2245. Whoosh. A black arrow flew out like a bolt of black lightning flickering in the air. In an instant, it passed through the defensive formation and pierced into the sky. A sea of lightning exploded in the sky, and a terrifying energy surged. The Lightning King screamed miserably, and a large number of feathers and blood fell. It roared crazily. Then it led the dozen or so lightning birds and quickly left. It was injured. The Lightning King was injured. Seeing this scene, everyone was shocked. Who was that middle-aged man? He was too terrifying. However, more people cried out in alarm. The city lord had made a move. That's right, it was the city lord of Wanrun City. He was a peerless powerhouse. When he saw the formation above his head shatter, he finally made a move. He forced the Lightning King back with an arrow and scared it away. However, after the city lord chased the Lightning King away, he did not have any joy of victory. Instead, his expression was extremely solemn. Because looking from the sky, there were densely packed demonic beasts outside. They were like waves that kept surging over. If they only guarded, they would not be able to hold on. Therefore, at the next moment he said loudly, "All the guards in the city, listen up. Activate the formation to resist the demonic beasts. At the same time, the elite team will go out with me to kill the enemies." Yes. Figures in armor rose into the air. They held long spears, sabers, and swords in their hands, and their bodies were filled with killing intent. At this moment, when they heard the city lord's voice, they raised their arms and shouted. Their voices were like the cries of 10,000 beasts. It was extremely terrifying. The city lord said loudly again, "Now, as the city lord of Wanrun City, I offer a reward for killing the demonic beasts." The reward was to be able to leave on the spirit boat first. After the demonic beasts retreated, the first spirit boat would head to Qianshan Domain. Whoever killed the demonic beasts would be qualified to sit on the first spirit boat. Hearing this, everyone was shocked and discussed animatedly. Many powerful people's eyes flickered, and they looked eager to give it a try. However, the city lord continued, "Although this is a reward, I still want to remind everyone. If you're not strong enough, don't go out. I don't want you to die for nothing. From now on, we will open the passage every 2 hours to allow martial artists to enter and exit. Every time, the passage will only be open for half an incense stick's time. You must seize this opportunity. Now, let's go." With a cold shout, the city lord took the lead and strode out. Behind him, a dense crowd of martial artists followed. These were all martial artists from the city lord's mansion. At this moment, they were seething with murderous intent, looking as if they were ready to die. They soared into the sky and left Wanrun City. Not only that, in all directions of Wanrun City, light vortexes appeared one after another. This was the passageway. It could allow other martial artists to enter and exit. Should he make a move? These people discussed animatedly. Among them, some of the bolder ones directly stepped into the vortex and left the city. Some of the others were also gnashing their teeth. Damn it, these demonic beasts were really despicable. Do you really think there's no one in the human race that can stand up to you? Kill them all. Many people soared into the sky and entered the vortex. However, some people also shook their heads, their faces pale. Stay outside for 2 hours? What a joke. You would definitely be killed. That was tens of thousands of demonic beasts. It was no joke. Therefore, the majority of the people stayed behind. From the looks of it, the city wouldn't be breached in a short period of time. It was absolutely safe here. If they went out, they might be able to leave earlier, but there was also a high chance that they would die. In the crowd, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. The right to leave earlier? Hearing this, the corners of his mouth curled up and his eyes flickered. He had long wanted to leave Wanrun City so that he could escape the pursuit of Tai dynasty. However, unfortunately, the beast tide had appeared, so he couldn't go out at all. However, the city lord actually stated such a condition. To him it was simply a great temptation. Thinking of that, Lin Xian did not hesitate. His figure flashed and he entered the vortex. Lin Xian's departure caused the surrounding martial artists to discuss. That kid dares to leave the city? How audacious. That's right, I don't feel any powerful aura from that kid and he's too young. Can he do it? Could it be that he's a prodigy? Or a prodigy from a large family? Some people were puzzled. However, more people shook their heads. I've never seen him before. He looks very unfamiliar and he doesn't have any family symbols on him. He's probably not a disciple of a large family. Those people shook their heads, thinking that he would be courting death if he went out. He's probably too young and doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Soon, many people went out and the vortex in all directions gradually disappeared. It would take 2 hours for it to open again. As for whether or not they would be able to return after 2 hours, that would be up to fate. In the city, the other people were watching. Many of them rose into the air and looked into the distance. That was because they wanted to see how the battle outside was going. After all, those who dared to go out were the elites of the city. There were even quite a few mighty figures. Come to think of it, he should be able to resist and kill quite a number of demonic beasts. Whoosh. As soon as Lin Xian left the city, he felt a terrifying storm and overwhelming demonic qi around him. Looking around, there were densely packed demonic beasts of various attributes and forms. There were all kinds of demonic beasts. It was extremely terrifying. Boom. As soon as he appeared, dozens of beasts around him pounced on him. There were cyan-patterned leopards and black demonic wolves, ghost hornets and so on. In short, they were all very terrifying beasts. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Countless sword lights rose from his body and circled in the sky. In an instant, all the beasts that approached him were all cut in half. Puff puff puff. Corpses fell and blood sprayed, dyeing the void red. However, it was useless. There was an endless beast tide around, and the corpses of these dozen beasts were quickly drowned. There was not the slightest splash. Then more beasts charged over. Boom, boom, boom. Lin Xian made a move to clear the surrounding beasts. At the same time, the warriors who came out all began to fight. Among them, the group led by the city lord was the most powerful. As soon as they appeared, they used terrifying martial arts and instantly crushed a large number of beasts. Blood gathered and surged in the sky. This scene immediately attracted the attention of those powerful demon kings. The Lightning King from before quickly charged over. Not only that, there was also a single-horned python. Its body was 1,000 feet long, and it was like an earth dragon that galloped quickly. In addition, there was a demon rat that was like a small mountain. Its teeth were abnormally sharp and it could cut through the void with a gentle shake. It was also an extremely terrifying demon king. These demon kings all charged over and fought with those mighty figures in the city lord. Boom, boom, boom. A shocking storm swept in all directions and countless beasts were sent flying. For a moment, a vacuum appeared in that place. However, not all martial artists were so strong. There were also some unlucky ones. Chapter 2246. A few people were directly teleported into a pack of wolves and were instantly swallowed by hundreds of demonic wolves. There were also a few people who were teleported in front of a powerful bear king and were smashed into a bloody mist with a slap. They didn't even have the time to scream. In short, the demonic beast side was very tragic, and the human side was also very tragic. For a time the battle was very intense. Some people fought alone and some people joined forces. Some people formed killing formations and some people could even control demonic beasts. In short, all kinds of methods were endless. It had to be said that those who dared to come out were all elites and there were no weaklings. Boom. A terrifying energy burst out, and a bare-chested man waved his fists non-stop. His fists were like mountains, blasting open the void and shattering countless demonic beasts. None of the demonic beasts that came close to him could survive. This person was so strong. Who was he? In the city the spectators were shocked. You don't even know him? You don't even know Iron Fist Xiao Kuang. What, he's Xiao Kuang? No wonder he's so powerful. His fist technique is indeed extraordinary. Exclamations of surprise could be heard. Clearly, many people had heard of the fierce man in front of them. In the crowd, the red-clothed woman who was saved by Lin Xian was also there. There were also a few people beside her. The red-clothed woman looked at the scene outside the city and kept clapping her hands. Great Brother Xiao is indeed powerful. Of course, the surrounding middle-aged men also had confident smiles on their faces. At this time a middle-aged woman said, "However, other than General Xiao there were a few people who were also so powerful. That old man should be from the Divine Fire sect. Looking at the cultivation technique he used, it should be correct." In the distance, there was a red-robed old man who was constantly spitting fire. The terrifying fiery red lotus spread all over the ground, burning many demonic beasts. And that woman is also very powerful. However, I can't tell which sect she's from. At this moment, many people exclaimed softly, because they discovered that there was a beautiful figure among the demonic beasts, like a fairy from beyond the heavens. She wore a veil and her body was emitting multicolored light. There was a lotus platform under her feet, and it spun, sending out terrifying rays of light that pierced through the surrounding demonic beasts. There was also an immortal flower in her hand. With a light wave, tens of thousands of rays of light scattered out, sending all the surrounding demonic beasts flying. What a strong woman. For a moment, many people's gazes were attracted. Boom, boom. At this moment, there was a shocking explosion as countless sword chi filled the area. Streaks of blood-red sword light shot up into the sky. Everything within 100 miles was submerged. Heavens, who is this? Everyone was stunned. Just who was the one who released such a terrifying sword chi? For a moment, everyone's gazes shifted over. Then they were extremely shocked. Was that brat? Many people cried out in alarm because they discovered that this was the brat that they had thought would not survive. Damn, this brat's strength is actually so strong. As expected, he had hidden his strength well. Unexpectedly, he was really a young prodigy. These people were extremely shocked. That's right, the one who attacked was Lin Xian. He used the demon-slaying sword formation, and streaks of terrifying sword runes rushed out. In such a place, it was most suitable to use the slaughter sword formation. As expected, when the blood-red sword chi filled the sky, the blood of the beasts that had been killed all gathered in the demon-slaying sword formation. This caused the power of the sword formation to increase once again. Boom. At this moment, an angry voice suddenly came from afar. The ground cracked open and a purple centipede that was 1,000 feet long crawled out from the crack. It bared its fangs and brandished its claws, directly piercing through the void. Its terrifying aura made everyone's scalp go numb. Not good. It was another powerful demon king. The faces of the people in the city changed when they saw this scene. Just in time. Iron Hand Xiao Kuang saw this scene and laughed loudly. His figure flashed and he rushed over like a meteor. The fist in his hand kept swinging, and terrifying fist shadows blasted forward. Brr. The 1,000-meter-long centipede roared angrily. It spat out balls of purple venom, melting all the terrifying fist shadows. Damn it! What a powerful beast! The burly man roared and suddenly retreated, leaving a series of afterimages in the air. The void where he was originally was wrapped in purple liquid, and then it pierced through, forming a black hole. What a terrifying demon king! In the city, the martial artists saw this scene and cried out in alarm. The woman in red and the others were also worried for the burly man. Iron Cloud Fist. The burly man roared and waved his fist. Balls of metallic luster appeared on his fist. Then, a terrifying fist mark tore through the void, bringing with it an unparalleled power as it blasted out. A great battle broke out. A man and a demon king fought in an earth-shattering manner. It was extremely terrifying. However, this demon king was too terrifying, and his entire body was filled with poison. As long as one touched it, even a supreme being would be seriously injured or even die. It could be said that this battle was extremely dangerous. However, what shocked everyone was that the final result was the victory of the burly man called Xiao Kuang. The purple centipede was incomparably terrifying. Its 1,000-meter-long body was pierced through, and countless bloody holes appeared. In the end, it directly split open, turning into balls of purple liquid that scattered in all directions. Everything that came into contact with it melted. The surrounding demon beasts also crazily screamed as they were wrapped in the purple liquid and turned into a pool of blood. The burly man looked up to the sky and roared. His black hair danced wildly and he stood in the void like a god of war. Seeing this scene, all the martial artists in the city sucked in a breath of cold air, and their faces were filled with shock. It was too shocking. Such a terrifying demon king was killed so easily. It was enough to show how terrifying this burly man's strength was. The red-clothed woman and the others also heaved a sigh of relief. Brother Xiao was indeed powerful. The surrounding people were also extremely shocked. As expected of Iron Fist Xiao Kuang, he lived up to his reputation. That's right, that was an expert of the Hong sect. His Iron Fist was probably unparalleled. In the distance, Lin Xian looked at this scene and his eyes flickered. This burly man was indeed powerful. It seemed that the central continent was indeed a place filled with outstanding people. Peerless experts could be seen everywhere. However, at this moment he frowned. In the next moment he waved his arm and a sword chi slashed out. The direction was precisely Xiao Kuang's direction. What? Seeing this scene, many people were stunned. Xiao Kuang also frowned. What? Someone dared to attack him. They really didn't know what death was. However, in the next moment his pupils shrank. Something wasn't right. They didn't attack him. This was because the void beside him had suddenly split open, and a dark red poisonous stinger had suddenly pierced towards his back. Not good. Seeing this scene, Xiao Kuang's scalp went numb. He roared angrily and countless steel-like patterns appeared on the surface of his body. His strength exploded and his body suddenly moved horizontally. However, the dark red poisonous stinger was too sudden and too fast. As a result, it firmly locked onto him. Chapter 2247. However, at this moment, a sword light slashed down and sent the dark red poisonous stinger flying. Clang. The sword light flashed and sent the red poisonous stinger flying. He was saved. Xiao Kuang heaved a sigh of relief and a hint of gratitude appeared in his eyes. Previously, he thought that someone wanted to sneak an attack on him, but he didn't expect that the other party didn't sneak an attack and instead saved his life. Thinking of this, he looked around trying to find the person who saved him. In the city, the cultivators were also exclaiming. They had the same thoughts as Xiao Kuang. Now it seemed that they were wrong. Who was this person? He was so powerful that he could sense the danger ahead of Xiao Kuang. Yes, not only did he know in advance, but the speed and timing of his attack were also perfect. He was definitely a top expert. Could it be the elder from the Divine Fire sect? Sounds of discussion could be heard. However, soon they were stunned. Because on the distant battlefield, Xiao Kuang's figure swayed and flew in a direction. Thank you for saving me. Xiao Kuang arrived above a blood-red sword formation and said in a clear voice. Buzz. A vacuum appeared in the demon-slaying sword formation. Lin Xian stepped on the air and arrived above it. He said calmly. It was nothing. It was just a small matter. What? Who was it? Everyone was stunned when they saw this scene. They didn't expect that the person who saved him was actually a young man. This kid was too powerful. Who was he? Which sect was he from? I don't know, but why do I feel that he was just lucky? What a joke. He definitely wasn't lucky. He must be a top expert. Everyone discussed intensely. On the battlefield, Xiao Kuang was also very surprised. He didn't expect that the person who saved him was actually a young man. Moreover, he was so young. From the looks of it, he was only in his 20s. He was also curious about the other party's identity. So in the next moment he cupped his fists and said, I'm Xiao Kuang from the Hong sect. May I know your name and which sect are you from? I'm a rogue cultivator from the Longxian sect. Lin Xian reported his name. He didn't use his real name because he was still wanted by the Tai dynasty. So he used an alias. When the two of them were talking, they didn't stop. The demon-slaying sword formation under Lin Xian's feet was still attacking in all directions. An iron cloud domain appeared on Xiao Kuang's body. The terrifying energy kept bombarding the surrounding demonic beasts. Rogue cultivator? Hearing this, Xiao Kuang was shocked. To be honest, he did not believe that the other party was a rogue cultivator. But come to think of it, the other party must have some secrets or was unwilling to reveal his true identity. He didn't mind at all. The next moment he smiled and said, "Young Master Long, how about we join forces?" Xiao Kuang's eyes lit up. Because killing ordinary demonic beasts was too boring, he had long since set his eyes on a demonic beast king. However, that demon king was even more terrifying than the 1,000-year centipede. He was probably no match for it alone. Okay. Lin Xian nodded and did not refuse. In the next moment, the two of them turned into streams of light and soared into the sky. Their target was the lightning bird in the distance. Boom. However, they had only flown halfway when a roar suddenly came from a few thousand meters to their left. Ka. The earth split open and another colossus appeared. This time, as soon as the demonic beast appeared, terrifying demonic clouds floated in the sky, and a terrifying aura spread out in all directions. Another demon king. This demon king was also very large. Its body was like a mountain, and its body was covered in yellow scales like a thick battle armor. Earth Demon Pangolin. Many people exclaimed. As soon as the huge pangolin appeared, its huge beast claws covered the sky and directly smashed the void. The direction of the beast claws was where the mysterious woman was. The mysterious woman stepped on the lotus platform, and the immortal puppet in her hand danced non-stop, sweeping out rays of divine light that continuously blasted forward. The two collided in the air and energy waves spread out in all directions. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian and Xiao Kuang both stopped. Especially Lin Xian, his eyes flickered and he frowned slightly. Previously, when he saw the mysterious figure, he felt that it was somewhat familiar. Now that it was so close, he felt that it was someone he knew. Kid, look at what she's using. It seems to be a cultivation technique of the Jade Lake. At this moment, the dark red dragon in the Black Earth ship transmitted its voice. Lin Xian was extremely shocked. Jade Lake's sacred ground's divine ability. Could it be Qingqing? Lin Xian's heart beat wildly because Murong Qingqing was in the Jade Lake's sacred ground, but had she come to the middle ground? He didn't know because he hadn't seen her for a long time. No matter what, since she was from the Jade Lake's sacred ground, he naturally had to help. Therefore, at the next moment he said, "Brother Xiao, let's go over there and kill that earth demon pangolin." Okay. Xiao Kuang also laughed. He didn't care which demonic beast they killed. What he cared about was whether the demon king was strong or not. This earth demon pangolin tore the sky apart as soon as it appeared. It was definitely a powerful demon king. The two changed their direction and flew toward the huge pangolin. In front, a great battle broke out. The mysterious woman held the immortal puppet and launched a terrifying attack. This attack was definitely able to threaten a peerless almighty. Boom, boom, boom. The earth demon pangolin roared and kept retreating, but there were no obvious injuries on its body. It couldn't be helped. Its thick armor was too strong, as if it could resist everything. Not only was its defense strong, but its attack was also extremely fierce. Therefore, for a moment, the mysterious woman kept dodging and seemed to be at a disadvantage. However, although she seemed to be at a disadvantage, the mysterious woman didn't suffer any injuries. It was obvious that she was at ease. She probably still had many trump cards that she hadn't used yet. Whoosh, whoosh. At this moment, Lin Xian and Xiao Kuang arrived. "Sister, don't be afraid, I'll help you." Xiao Kuang laughed loudly and continuously attacked with his iron cloud divine fists. The terrifying fists landed on the pangolin's body, and rumbling sounds could be heard. It was as if 10,000 bolts of lightning were descending. On the other side, Lin Xian also waved his hand, and the demon-slaying sword array completely enveloped the pangolin. Streaks of blood-colored sword chi intertwined, forming terrifying demonic beast phantoms. They roared in all directions and pounced toward the pangolin. The void in front of them was instantly shattered, and the surrounding demonic beasts were all turned into blood mist. Even more demonic beasts were frantically fleeing, not daring to get close. With the addition of two experts, the pangolin was instantly at a disadvantage, and its body was constantly attacked. However, it was actually unharmed. It had to be said that it was really shocking. When the mysterious woman saw that someone had come to help, she also heaved a sigh of relief. In the next moment, she turned her head and saw a burly man and a handsome young man. However, when she saw the handsome young man, she was clearly stunned. She even stopped in midair. "Brother Xian, it's you." Chapter 2248. "Brother Xian, it's you." The mysterious woman cried out in surprise, and her voice was filled with excitement. Hearing the shout, Lin Xian also turned his head to look. Finally, he saw the mysterious woman clearly through the light that filled the sky. Qingqing. Lin Xian was extremely surprised. He didn't expect this mysterious woman to really be Murong Qingqing. Wasn't she cultivating in the East Continent's Jade Lake sacred ground? Why did she come to the Central Continent? Moreover, she was in the middle of the Beast Tide? You two actually know each other? Xiao Kuang was also extremely surprised. Lin Xian's figure flashed and arrived beside Murong Qingqing. The two looked at each other, their eyes filled with excitement. Brother Xian, be careful. At this moment, Murong Qingqing exclaimed. Then the immortal puppet in her hand quickly danced. Boom. In the sky, a terrifying beast claw grabbed at them. Its powerful aura extinguished the light on their bodies. Lin Xian also snorted coldly. He turned around, his eyes bursting with a sharp light. He said, Qingqing, let's talk later. Let's work together to get rid of this guy first. Clang. He pulled out the ancient dragon abyss sword and slashed. Boom. Boom boom. Brr. The terrifying sword chi tore through the void and slashed at the earthen yellow beast claw. In the next moment, blood spurted out and a crazy roar sounded. It was injured. Xiao Kuang was extremely shocked. On the other side, Murong Qingqing's beautiful eyes also flickered. The warriors in the city were even more shocked. Everyone was stunned. They didn't expect Lin Xian to be so powerful. He injured the pangolin with a single slash. So powerful. This is a young genius. The team from the city lord's mansion was also extremely shocked. Because when the pangolin came out, they noticed it. The pangolin was a mutated beast of heaven and earth. Its attack power was strong and its defense was even more terrifying. It was probably very difficult to break through. Even the city lord was thinking about whether to send experts to restrain the pangolin. Because the other party was too difficult to deal with, it was impossible to eliminate in a short period of time. However, before they could make a move on the other side, a young man had actually injured the pangolin with a single sword strike. How could they not be shocked? Boom. The pangolin roared crazily. His eyes glowed red, and his demonic aura swept through the 9 heavens. The sky was filled with demonic chi covering the entire sky. The entire sky turned gloomy, and the biting cold aura caused the blood and chi in one's body to rumble. Not good. This beast had gone mad. Be careful. Xiao Kuang roared. The iron cloud domain revolved around him. His expression was incomparably solemn. On the other side, Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing also had serious expressions. King domains rose from their bodies. Older brother Xian, let's end this quickly. I have so much to say to you. Murong Qingqing also did not want to delay here. Good. Since Murong Qingqing had said so, how could Lin Xian hold back? A sharp sword intent burst out from his body, and the great dragon sword soul in his body began to revolve wildly. Primal Chaos Heaven Destroyer Sword, sky-shattering. Slaying Chu with one sword, the heavens fell and the earth cracked. Flying flowers. Murong Qingqing also used the Wavering Light Sacred Land's great divine ability. Countless petals danced around her, and it was abnormally gorgeous and dreamy. However, no one dared to underestimate it. Every petal contained a terrifying killing intent that could easily pierce through an almighty. The two's terrifying killing moves covered the sky and the earth as they rushed over. Boom boom boom. All of them landed on the pangolin's body. The pangolin kept retreating, causing the ground to crack. Terrifying cracks appeared on his body, and blood instantly dyed the ground red. What? These two people were actually so terrifying. Seeing this scene, the cultivators in the city exclaimed. The city lord was also shocked. These were definitely two young geniuses. And they were the best of the best. The combat strength of these two people should be at the level of an almighty. Many of the older generations sucked in a breath of cold air. On the side, Xiao Kuang was also shocked. Although he thought of himself as a madman in front of these two young men and women, he felt that he could not compare. However, in the next moment he laughed out loud. A sharp light appeared in his eyes, and the aura on his body suddenly skyrocketed. His entire body emitted a metallic luster as mysterious runes appeared on his skin. Fist shatters mountains and rivers. Xiao Kuang roared as his black hair danced wildly in the wind. His fist released a terrifying energy that directly split open the earth and shattered the void. This punch was truly terrifying. Boom. Boom. The three of them unleashed their powerful killing moves, forcing the pangolin to retreat again and again as it roared furiously. It resisted madly but to no avail. All three of them were extremely terrifying, especially Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing. Thus, after a few dozen moves, the pangolin was already on the verge of death. After another dozen or so moves, its huge body exploded into pieces with a boom. He was killed. Such a terrifying demon king was actually killed so easily. Everyone was in a daze, feeling a sense of disbelief. The other demon kings in the surroundings also let out angry roars as the demon beasts on the ground wailed incessantly. Next, Lin Xian, Murong Qingqing, and Xiao Kuang joined forces and killed another powerful demon king. At this time the 2 hours were up. The three of them flashed and returned to the city. Soon they entered the whirlpool and arrived at the city. The other warriors who left the city also returned one after another, because the 2 hours of battle had consumed a lot of their energy. After all, this was not an ordinary battle but a battle of life and death with thousands of demon beasts. Thus, the consumption was extremely terrifying. Of course, only a small portion of the elites returned. Most of the warriors were killed and even their bones were eaten by the demon beasts. Those who returned were heavily injured and had a slim chance of survival. Like Lin Xian, Murong Qingqing and Rong Qingqing who were not injured at all, it could be said that there were none. Brother Xiao, see you later. Lin Xian turned his head and said goodbye to Xiao Kuang. Then he pulled Murong Qingqing and the two of them turned into a ray of light and flew into the depths of the city. Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing arrived at a place with fewer people and hugged each other tightly. After not seeing each other for so long, they naturally missed each other. Thus, the two of them swallowed pills to recover their energy while telling each other what happened during this period of time. Murong Qingqing's matter was very simple. She had been quietly cultivating in the Jade Lake sacred ground until recently when she broke through and became a powerful expert. However, Lin Xian's matter was not so simple. When Murong Qingqing heard about Lin Xian's magnificent and shocking matter, she also cried out in surprise. Especially when she heard that Lin Xian had killed the battle race's genius, she was even more shocked. Her beautiful eyes were filled with shock and worry. She was no longer a simple little girl, but the Jade Lake's holy maiden. She had naturally heard of the legends of the battle race. It was an ancient race that was said to be born for battle. Their strength was incomparably terrifying. However, such a terrifying genius was actually killed by Lin Xian. Chapter 2249. But now Murong Qingqing was more worried. Because killing the genius of the war race would definitely incur the wrath of the war race. Moreover, she now knew that Lin Xian was wanted by the Taiyi dynasty. She was afraid that the situation would be very dangerous. Therefore, Murong Qingqing asked, Brother Xian, do you need me to use the power of the Jade Lake to help you? No need, don't worry, the world is so big, it won't be easy for them to find me. Moreover, I'm not so easy to defeat. Lin Xian laughed. This was a battle between him and the war race. He didn't want the other sacred lands to get involved, nor did he want Murong Qingqing to be injured. Alright, Qingqing, why did you come to the Ninli dynasty this time? Lin Xian was also very puzzled. I came here this time for two purposes. You haven't come to find me for a long time, so I have to come out and find you. As she spoke, Murong Qingqing rolled her eyes at Lin Xian. Lin Xian also chuckled. Am I not being hunted down? Murong Qingqing snorted and grabbed Lin Xian's big hand with her small hand, gently leaning on his shoulder. Then she said, I have completed the first mission. However, there is still a second mission. The sacred lands asked me to investigate the nest of 10,000 dragons. News of the nest of 10,000 dragons. Hearing this, Lin Xian was also surprised. The dark red dragon came out of the black earth with a whoosh. Little girl Murong, you know the news of the nest of 10,000 dragons. The dark red dragon was incomparably excited. Murong Qingqing looked at the dark red dragon and was also surprised. You're still here? I thought you had already escaped. Fuck. Hearing this, the dark red dragon was speechless. What a joke, how could I escape? Hurry up and tell me, is there any news of the nest of 10,000 dragons? Why are you so concerned? Murong Qingqing blinked her beautiful eyes. Lin Xian also said, we are also looking for the nest of 10,000 dragons but there is no progress. Is older brother Xian looking for him too? Murong Qingqing was surprised and said, actually we don't know much either. He only knew that the nest of 10,000 dragons was in the middle ground. As for where exactly it was, he did not know. However, according to our Jade Lake Sacred Grounds calculations, the nest of 10,000 dragons will appear in the world soon. However, we don't know the exact time. Maybe a year or two, maybe 100 or two. Moreover, according to the analysis of the sacred land, the Ninli dynasty was very likely to be the location of the nest of 10,000 dragons. Of course, it was only a suspicion. Because there have been many beast hordes in the Ninli dynasty recently, we suspect it has something to do with the nest of 10,000 dragons. It turned out to be like this. Hearing this, Lin Xian was shocked. He didn't expect there to be such news. At the side, the dark red divine dragon's eyes flickered. Indeed, this beast lair might really be related to the nest of 10,000 dragons. Why don't we capture a few demon kings and explore it? That works too. Lin Xian nodded in agreement to this suggestion. After all, the nest of 10,000 dragons was the legendary land of dragons. There must be countless treasures inside. If they could find it, it would definitely be an earth-shattering fortune. He was different from Murong Qingqing. As the saintess, Murong Qingqing had the resources provided by the entire sacred land. However, he was alone, so he had to work hard for all the resources he needed. Since they were ready to attack again, the two of them didn't hesitate and immediately recovered their strength. 2 hours later, the two of them opened their eyes and set off again. What? They still wanted to go out. Seeing this scene, everyone in the city was shocked. They didn't expect this pair of peerless geniuses to attack again. But Murong Qingqing and Lin Xian's figures flashed, entered the vortex and walked out. When they went out, countless beasts fled, not daring to approach at all. They had no choice. The two of them had killed several demon kings previously, which had already terrified these beasts. Although they were violent, bloodthirsty and loved to kill, these beasts weren't fools. All of a sudden, wherever Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing passed, a vacuum appeared. Not a single demonic beast dared to approach. Of course, ordinary beasts didn't dare to approach, but that didn't mean that demon kings didn't dare to approach. When the demon kings saw Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing, their eyes were cold and filled with monstrous killing intent. It was these two despicable humans who had killed many of their companions. Just at this moment, the Lightning King roared. It flapped its wings and charged over with terrifying thunder and lightning. With a loud boom, thousands of lightning bolts descended, turning the world upside down. The Lightning King's huge body covered the sky, emitting an endless sea of lightning that pierced through the void. This scene was too terrifying. The power of a peerless demon king's anger was definitely unimaginable. But Lin Xian's dragon sword domain instantly rushed over, and then sword chi flew out of the domain. The sword chi turned into sword spirits that danced in the air. There were a total of 36,000 divine swords that covered the sky. Boom, boom. At the next moment, the Lightning King collided with the sword chi in the sky, emitting a deafening sound. The Lightning King roared, and 9 terrifying lightning balls appeared on its body. They connected to form a mysterious pattern that shattered all the sword chi. So powerful. The martial artists in the city were shocked. 9 balls of lightning floated in the sky, completely revolving around the Lightning King. They formed a dense lightning rune, bringing with them a monstrous power as they pressed forward courageously. Whoosh. At this moment, Murong Qingqing also made her move. She waved the immortal puppet in her hand, and endless light appeared like a rainbow as it slashed forward. These immortal puppets and the lotus platform under their feet were the secret treasures of the Jade Lake sacred ground, and they were extremely terrifying. Now that it was unleashed, its power was at its peak. Boom, boom. Endless divine light scattered, and the sea of lightning in the sky was pierced. The Lightning King was in pain and was forced to retreat. Countless bloody holes even appeared on its body. With a furious roar, 2 huge wings slashed toward Murong Qingqing like heavenly blades. Whoosh. Murong Qingqing controlled the lotus platform and quickly dodged the terrifying heavenly blade. A 1,000-meter-long spatial crack appeared in the void where she was previously. Ruffian dragon. Lin Xian shouted in a low voice. Then the dark red divine dragon let out a dragon roar. The sound wave rolled forward and instantly enveloped the Lightning King. Whoa. Hearing the dragon roar, the Lightning King's body stiffened and stopped in midair. Deep fear appeared in its eyes. In fact, its body even trembled. It was not only the Lightning King. The monster kings fighting in the distance were also bewildered and kept roaring. Their eyes were filled with uneasiness. As for the surrounding ordinary monsters, they were all prostrating on the ground. What's going on? What's going on? What happened? Whose roar was that? Could it be that an even more terrifying peerless monster king had appeared? Everyone was dumbfounded because this scene was too shocking. Thousands of monsters prostrating on the ground were definitely welcoming a monarch. Chapter 2250. Even those peerless powerhouses frowned. On the city lord's side, the city lord's eyes flickered, and his gaze pierced through the 9 heavens and 10 lands. They didn't know that the sound wave was emitted by the dark red divine dragon. Because the dark red divine dragon didn't show up at all. It only roared in the black earth, and the sound instantly resounded through the world. They didn't even know where the source of the sound was. Bus. At this moment Lin Xian made his move. While the Lightning King was stunned, he stretched out a palm. On his palm, a dragon-shaped phantom appeared and turned into a huge green dragon hand. It covered the sky. This palm was too terrifying. It covered 1,000 miles and completely enveloped the Lightning King. Countless people exclaimed and Lin Xian shouted coldly. Suppress. Boom. 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 A terrifying sea of lightning spread, wanting to bombard the huge palm, but it couldn't do it at all. This palm that contained the dragon sword soul was extremely terrifying. It completely grabbed the Lightning King and crazily poured power into it. The Lightning King's body kept shrinking. Boom. The Lightning King kept wailing. He wanted to break free but he couldn't do it at all. The surrounding monster kings were also roaring crazily. However, the dragon's roar was still echoing in the world, and they didn't dare to go forward at all. In the end, the Lightning King was completely enveloped by the uncle's palm, and then he disappeared with a whoosh. In fact, he didn't disappear. Instead, he was thrown into the black earth by Lin Xian. The people outside didn't know. They were still in shock. In the black earth, the Lightning King roared crazily as soon as he entered, wanting to counterattack. However, the dark red divine dragon roared again. The terrifying dragon's roar sounded, scaring the Lightning King. His shrunken body lay on the ground, shivering. His eyes were filled with shock. How was this possible? What was that sound? Why was the other party's bloodline pressure so powerful? It was so powerful that he couldn't resist at all. He saw the other party lying there, covered in blood. The dark red divine dragon sneered and raised his hand to cast countless arrays, completely sealing the Lightning King. Outside, Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing heaved a sigh of relief. They had already captured the Lightning King. Next they killed some monsters. When the city gate opened they returned to the city again. Roar. Roar roar roar. At this moment, countless demonic beasts roared. Their roars reverberated through the 9 heavens. The terrifying army of demonic beasts was like a tidal wave, pushing forward crazily. All the demonic beasts and demon kings had left. Only blood and corpses were left on the ground. There was also the pungent smell of blood in the air. He left. He actually left. The cultivators in the city were shocked, and the people outside the city lord's mansion were also surprised. Based on the previous situation, the beast tide would last for at least a day. Sometimes it would last for 2 or 3 days or even longer. But now not even half a day had passed. The beast tide retreated so quickly, which really surprised them. At this moment an old man frowned. Could it be related to that angry shout from before? That was most likely the case. He didn't know what kind of existence it was, but its voice could stun all the demon kings. The city lord's eyes flickered and he said in a low voice, "We can't care so much. Let's go back first." At the same time he sent out a call for help, asking Dynasty to send more powerhouses as reinforcements. Otherwise we wouldn't have been able to resist it. Whoosh, whoosh. These experts all returned to the city. Victory. We won. In the city, countless people cheered. They felt as if they had survived a disaster. After all, the previous battle was too tragic, and it made them shudder with fear. But now, so many terrifying beasts had actually retreated. In other words, they were safe. For a moment, everyone cheered. When Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing returned to the city again, countless gazes looked at them. Their eyes were filled with admiration and gratitude, because they knew that these 2 young geniuses had killed many powerful demon kings. They had stopped the beast from attacking the city. They could be said to be their benefactors. For a moment, everyone was grateful. On the other side, the city lord returned with a group of powerhouses and was also welcomed by everyone. Everyone was overjoyed, but the city lord and the rest didn't relax. They quickly returned to the city lord's mansion. Those who had returned from the battlefield were waiting silently because they were waiting for the spirit boat to leave. Although the beasts had retreated, it wasn't safe outside. Who knew when these beasts would make a comeback? Perhaps they would encounter these beasts on the way out. Therefore they wanted to leave on the spirit boat. The spirit boat's grade was very high and it contained countless arrays. It was a special spirit boat used to travel between major cities. It was very safe. Even if they encountered a powerful demon king, they could escape. This was also the reason why those cultivators had risked their lives to kill the beasts even though they knew that the battlefield was dangerous. After the city lord returned with a group of people, they began to take action. Of course, they also activated a spirit boat. After all, this was something that they had agreed on before. Those who went out to kill the enemy and returned alive would take the spirit boat. Among them, the most dazzling ones were Lin Xian, Murong Qingqing, and Xiao Kuang. The group of people boarded the spirit boat and quickly left. Those who didn't manage to ascend to the top of the mountainside. However, there was nothing they could do. After all, this qualification was exchanged with their lives. No one could refute it. The spirit boat set off from Wanrun City to Qianshan Domain. Qianshan Domain wasn't a city, but a region. There were a total of 9 regions in the Nine Li dynasty, and Qianshan Domain was one of them. Qianshan Domain was unimaginably large, and the cities inside were like stars. Of course, there was a main city, Qianshan Main City. The spirit boat headed to Qianshan Domain, but it didn't go directly to Qianshan Main City. Instead, it went to a city at the edge of Qianshan Domain, Sky Spring City. However, it didn't matter. As long as they left Wanrun City, they would be free from the Tai dynasty's investigation. It didn't matter if they went to Sky Spring City or Qianshan City. After a few days of flying, they finally arrived at Sky Spring City. The group alighted and the spirit boat returned. "Brother Long, we still have things to do, so we won't disturb you." Xiao Kuang walked over and said with a smile, "If you have time, come to the Hong sect in Qianshan City. I'll definitely treat you well." "Okay, I'll definitely go when I have time." Lin Xian also said with a smile. Both parties bid farewell. The red-clothed girl, Xiao Ling'er, was very reluctant. She waved her hand, "Brother Long, you must come and see us." After Xiao Kuang and the others left, Murong Qingqing said with a smile, "That little girl seems to have taken a fancy to you." "Don't talk nonsense. How is that possible?" Lin Xian shook his head. Even if she had taken a fancy to him, he wouldn't dare to admit it. "Is that so? You're quite popular with women, aren't you? When I wasn't around, did you do anything dishonest?" Murong Qingqing blinked and asked. Lin Xian broke out in cold sweat and hurriedly shook his head. He hurriedly changed the topic. "Where are we going?" "Let's go to Stellar Sky City. I have a senior sister there. We can go find her." "Senior sister? Okay." Lin Xian nodded. Murong Qingqing said, "Let's take the spirit boat in the city. After all, the Nine Li dynasty isn't very safe. If we encounter a group of demonic beasts, it will be troublesome." "That's fine too. Taking the spirit boat can save us a lot of trouble." The two entered the city and prepared to take the spirit boat to Stellar Sky City. Chapter 2251. Inside the Black Earth, the dark red dragon also began to search his soul and interrogate him. The Lightning King was sealed and lying on the ground, but his eyes were filled with fear and anger. "Damn it, who are you? Why are you helping humans?" The Lightning King spoke in human language and roared crazily. He really couldn't understand. The other party was obviously a demon, and he was very powerful and had a very pure bloodline. Why did he capture him and help humans? I didn't ask you, but you actually dare to question me? Who do you think you are? How dare you interfere in my matters? Now you are a prisoner. Listen to me obediently, or I will roast you and eat you." The dark red dragon bared his teeth and asked coldly, "What is the purpose of this beast tide? Who sent you here? Is it related to the nest of 10,000 dragons? Do you know anything about the nest of 10,000 dragons? If you know, hurry up and say it. If you dare to hide it and let me find out, I will definitely roast you." "What nest of 10,000 dragons?" The series of questions left the Lightning King in a daze. The dark red dragon was indeed angry. "Damn, you dare to play dumb in front of me? It seems that if I don't teach you a lesson, you really won't know why flowers are so red." Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The dark red dragon opened his mouth and spat out a ball of dragon flames. The terrifying flames surged forward and instantly enveloped the Lightning King. Wrapped in flames, the Lightning King let out a miserable roar. He had been sealed and could not use his demonic energy and strength at all. He could only rely on his strong physique to resist. However, these were not ordinary flames but dragon flames. Its power was incomparably terrifying. Even though he was a demon king and had a strong physique, he could not resist it now. Therefore, soon, some parts of his body turned black and even emitted the smell of roasted meat. The Lightning King was in so much pain that he screamed crazily. On the other side, the dark red dragon snorted coldly and waved his dragon claw, putting away the dragon flames. Then he asked again, "I'll give you a chance. Tell me what you know, or don't blame me for being impolite. You've already tasted the taste of the flames just now, right? That's just a little. If you don't say it, I won't be polite. When I use my full strength, you'll be roasted soon." "Stop, stop, stop." The Lightning King screamed and roared. He was originally a demonic king, a high and mighty figure who ruled over countless demonic beasts. But now, in front of the dark red divine dragon, he had no temper at all. The other party's flames were too terrifying. They could really roast him. Thus he had no choice but to tell the truth. This time our attack on the city was indeed organized and planned. However, it has nothing to do with the nest of 10,000 dragons you mentioned. Moreover, we don't know anything about the nest of 10,000 dragons. It's just that the experts of our Yao clan wanted us to attack the city. You didn't know? How could this be? The dark red dragon frowned and asked, "Why are you attacking the city?" I really don't know. I'm just a 7-star demon king. Although I'm pretty strong, I don't have access to these core secrets of the demon race. Fuck. Not saying anything? Don't blame me for being impolite. The dark red divine dragon extended its dragon claw and grabbed the lightning king's head. Little dumb bird, since you don't want to tell me, then don't blame me for being ruthless. As he spoke, the dark red divine dragon used a secret technique of dragons to directly collect the other party's soul and check his information. The lightning king screamed and resisted frantically. However, he was sealed. Moreover, this was a great mystical ability of the dragons. He couldn't resist at all. Thus his eyes rolled back and he fainted. On the other side, the dark red divine dragon let go of his dragon claw and frowned. He realized that the lightning king was right. The other party really didn't know, and there was no information about the nest of 10,000 dragons in his mind. However, there were a few pieces of information in the other party's mind that made the dark red divine dragon very suspicious. Firstly, the reason why these beasts attacked the city was to destroy the super teleportation array. In fact, these beasts even wanted to destroy the dragon veins on the ground. This was really too suspicious. Could it be that these beasts wanted to overthrow the Ninely dynasty? The dark red divine dragon didn't know, but he felt that with the power of these demon race they couldn't do that. Could it be that the other party had something to rely on? In the Lightning King's memory, it seemed that the higher-ups of the demon race had given the order to welcome something. It was said that once those things appeared, the demon race would once again reign over the land and become the ruler of this continent. This news made the dark red divine dragon's expression even more solemn. One had to know that the human race was flourishing now. The 5 continents of the true spirit world were all ruled by humans. Although the demon race was also powerful, they couldn't be compared to humans at all. Only in the deep sea and the forest could they show off their might. In front of these sacred grounds and dynasties, they couldn't stir up any waves at all. But now, these beasts actually wanted to reign over the land? What did they have? Also, what were they waiting for? How could it have such power? After thinking about it, the dark red divine dragon felt that only the nest of 10,000 dragons had such power. Therefore, the beast tide of these beasts really had something to do with the nest of 10,000 dragons. However, this lightning king didn't know much, so he could only get this information. Fuck, what a piece of trash. In that case, I'll roast you. The dark red divine dragon was very angry. This stupid bird actually didn't know anything. Thinking of this, he spewed out dragon flames that filled the sky and directly roasted the Lightning King. On the other side, Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing entered Sky Spring City. They came to the city, took Lin Zhou's main hall, paid the fare and prepared to wait. At this moment, many martial artists in the main hall were sitting there, waiting quietly. They all took spirit boats. Because of the recent frequent beast tides, these martial artists were more cautious and generally didn't dare to act alone. Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing found a seat and sat down to wait quietly. At this moment, the dark red divine dragon sent a voice transmission. "Kid, I've received some news." "Oh, how is it? Is it related?" Lin Xian asked. Then, the dark red divine dragon told him the information he knew. After Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing heard this, their eyes flickered. In that case, it really was related. Indeed, Murong Qingqing also nodded. She came to the Ninely dynasty this time to investigate the nest of 10,000 dragons. She didn't expect to find a clue now. However, the Lightning King didn't know much. It seemed that if they wanted to know more, they had to capture an 8-star demon king and ask. Murong Qingqing frowned and then sighed. An 8-star demon king was equivalent to a peerless mighty figure. Moreover, this kind of demon king was definitely extremely terrifying. They controlled countless beasts and it was very difficult to capture such a demon king. There was no hurry. Since it was related and the beasts were attacking the city, it seemed that they had also taken action. Let's wait for the time. When the time comes, we'll definitely find some clues. Chapter 2252. Let's go to the Zhao family and ask my senior for help. Maybe they know something. Murong Qingqing said. The two of them continued to talk softly and waited. On the other side, White Cloud City. In the city, A super teleportation formation shone and a group of experts walked out. The person in front was wearing armor and had a cold expression. It was General Xianing. More and more martial artists appeared behind him. General. Just then a young man in black armor walked over and knelt down on one knee. How is it? Is there any news from Wanrun City? The beast horde has retreated and Wanrun City is no longer sealed. We received news that before the city was sealed, the super teleportation formation was activated and 2 figures were teleported out. It came from the general's residence. Later on, after the city was sealed, the super teleportation formation was destroyed for some reason. It hasn't been repaired yet. It came from the general's residence? Hearing that, General Xianying's eyes turned cold and he sneered. There was no need to think. It must be that kid. General Xianying was relieved because he had finally found traces of the kid. Moreover, the time between the 2 parties wasn't long. The kid couldn't have gone far. He was in the surrounding area. Men split up and search. Search through all the cities in the White Cloud domain, Wanrun domain, and Chenshan domain. Once you find traces of the kid, don't act rashly. Send me a message immediately. Yes. The martial artists under him replied. General Xianying said again. Alright, I remember that Hell has a stronghold in Ninely Dynasty. Send someone to hire a few assassins to assassinate the kid. No matter how much it costs, you must hire them. Yes, I'll do it right away. The martial artist who was half kneeling on the ground quickly replied. Then General Xianying waved his hand and the people around him started to move. After these people left, General Xianying revealed a trace of a cold smile. He didn't believe that the kid could escape this time. Even if he couldn't find the kid, Hell would definitely be able to find him. Oh. It was an assassin organization and it was an extremely terrifying one. It had been passed down since ancient times and was extremely terrifying. None of the targets they set their sights on could survive. With them around, General Xianying was relieved. On the other side, Sky Spring City. Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing were still silently waiting. They estimated that they would need another incense stick of time before they would be done. At this time, another group of people walked in from outside the hall. At the front was a young man wearing an embroidered robe. As the robe swayed slightly, runes flickered on it. Clearly it was a treasure. There was a half-moon jade pendant on his waist that was also shining with a similar luster. There were 3 exquisite rings on his fingers and a necklace around his neck. Each item was a precious treasure. From head to toe, this young man exuded an extraordinary aura. From the looks of it, he was the young master of some big family. However, this young man was very arrogant. He held his head high as if he didn't put anyone in his eyes. As soon as he entered, he scanned his surroundings and snorted coldly. On his left and right there were 2 beautiful women. They looked exquisite and had good figures. They wore pink muslin dresses. However, the 2 of them wore heavy makeup, making them look like fairies. Furthermore, her entire body was leaning against the arrogant young man. That arrogant young man's large hands were also constantly moving. Behind them there were 3 people in black robes. They were 3 middle-aged men. Their faces were expressionless, but their eyes were sharp. They should be guards to protect the arrogant young man in front. Seeing these people enter, Lin Xian glanced at them and ignored them. Murong Qingqing did not even look at them. The other cultivators also glanced at it before withdrawing their gazes and no longer paying attention. After the arrogant young master entered, he frowned. In the next moment he took 2 steps forward and stopped in front of a middle-aged man. He said coldly, "Get lost, I want this position." What? Hearing that, those people turned their heads again and looked over. They were all surprised. The middle-aged man who was reprimanded also opened his eyes. His eyes were filled with anger. "What do you mean? Get lost? You've gone too far." He snorted coldly and a terrifying aura emanated from his body. Buzz. That aura instantly filled the surroundings. It was obvious that he was also a terrifying king. However, the arrogant young man sneered disdainfully. He did not make a move, nor did he dodge. He continued to hold the 2 beauties in his arms and stood in front. However, the jade pendant and necklace on his body emitted light, forming a light screen that enveloped him. That frightening aura had been completely isolated. What terrifying Dharma treasures! Everyone was shocked. Needless to say, the jade pendant and necklace were defensive artifacts. A person who could carry 2 such treasures must have an extraordinary identity. However, the middle-aged man was extremely angry. So what if he has an extraordinary identity? Get lost after being reprimanded in public? No one would be able to stand it. As a king, how could he stand it? The arrogant young man looked at the other party and sneered disdainfully. Why? You want to fight me? You don't know what's good for you. As he said that, he waved his hand and said coldly, "Throw him out." Behind him, the three expressionless men in black walked forward. Each of them was emitting a cold aura. They were also kings. As soon as the three of them appeared, they surrounded the middle-aged man sitting there. Damn it! The middle-aged man's expression changed. None of the three people was weaker than him. Moreover, the three of them attacked at the same time. He could not resist at all. As expected, the next moment he was thrown out. With a plop, he fell to the ground and his expression became extremely ugly. Humiliation. That's a blatant humiliation. The expressions of the surrounding people also changed. They did not expect the young man to be so arrogant as to really throw someone out. Thinking of that, their expressions turned solemn. That was because the young man was completely unreasonable. If he targeted them in the future, they would not be able to resist. Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing also frowned, but the two of them did not meddle in other people's business. The king who was thrown to the ground roared angrily. "Damn it! I'll fight it out with you." His eyes were red and the energy in his body circulated crazily. He wanted to fight with his life. However, at that moment the arrogant young man turned around and sneered. "Fight it out with me? What do you have to fight me with?" As he said that, he shook the jade pendant on his waist. The half-moon-shaped red jade pendant flickered with light, and there were words engraved on it. Red Moon. Red Moon Clan. Seeing that jade pendant, the middle-aged man was completely stunned. He was stunned in midair and did not dare to attack again. His expression became extremely ugly. The next moment he snorted coldly, turned around and left. His speed was even faster than lightning. Chapter 2253. The surrounding people were all stunned. What's going on? Why did the middle-aged man leave? That shouldn't be the case. Judging from his angry look, he should be going all out. There were even a few people who decided to help. Because they really couldn't stand the arrogant young man. However, they didn't expect him to leave just like that. It was really out of their expectations. Could it be that this young man has some special background? After chasing away the middle-aged man, the arrogant young man sat down casually. The two beauties beside him sat on his lap. Three men in black stood behind him. The arrogant young man sat down and narrowed his eyes in satisfaction. The two seductive beauties also took out spirit fruits and spirit wine from their storage rings and personally fed them to the arrogant young man. The corners of the surrounding people's mouths twitched and they were speechless. Not only is this young man arrogant, but he also knows how to enjoy himself. Beauties in his arms, spirit wine and spirit fruits. This is a treatment that no one else has. As the arrogant young man enjoyed himself, his gaze swept across the surroundings again. When he saw Murong Qingqing, he was stunned and his eyes burst with excitement. Beauty? She's indeed a peerless beauty? Just her back view was enough to cause endless reveries. The arrogant young man was extremely excited. Indeed, from where he was, he could only see Murong Qingqing's back view. But even so, it still made him excited and hot blood gushed out of his body. The two beauties beside him were also considered top-notch, but compared to the other party's back view was enough to kill them in an instant. This made the arrogant young man's heart itch unbearably. The two beauties beside him naturally saw through this point. However, they didn't have any jealousy. Instead, their eyes became even more charming. Because the two of them were very smart. They knew that they couldn't have any dissatisfaction when following the young master in front of them. Otherwise they would end up very miserably. Sure enough, in the next moment, the arrogant young man stood up and walked forward. The two beauties followed closely beside him, and the three bodyguards behind them also moved together. Soon the arrogant young man arrived beside Murong Qingqing. When he saw Murong Qingqing's side profile, he exclaimed in surprise. Unfortunately, Murong Qingqing's face was wearing a veil, and only a pair of beautiful eyes could be seen. He couldn't see anything else at all. However, this was already enough. Just based on this point, he was certain that this was definitely a peerless beauty. If he saw such a beautiful woman, he would definitely not miss it. At the side, Lin Xian frowned when he saw this scene, and a trace of displeasure appeared in his eyes. What was going on? This guy actually dared to be so impudent. Could it be that they wanted to poach him? When he thought of this, his eyes turned cold and there was a cold glint in them. No matter who the other party was, if they dared to poach him, only death awaited them. Murong Qingqing also frowned slightly. However, at this moment the time limit of an incense stick was up, and the spirit vessel started moving. Everyone stood up and prepared to board the spirit vessel. Murong Qingqing said tenderly. Brother Xian, let's go. Okay. Lin Xian stood up and held Murong Qingqing's hand as the two of them walked forward. The tall young man narrowed his eyes. How dare you ignore me? What a personality. Interesting. Only then would there be a challenge. Looking at Murongdi's back, the arrogant young man sneered. Let's go. He waved his hand and the group of people also walked forward. Soon Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing boarded the spirit vessel. The two of them naturally bought the best seats. The chairs were made of superior demon beast skin and were abnormally soft. There was also a table beside them with exquisite spirit fruits and spirit tea. Murong Qingqing chose to sit by the window, then closed her eyes slightly. She leaned her head on Lin Xian's shoulder, and her arm was around Lin Xian. She was prepared to rest for a while. Lin Xian did not sleep. He was also a little bored and it was not suitable for cultivation right now. But fortunately, the spirit vessel was very comfortable. There were a few books on the table and they were all about some strange things. There were also some books that introduced the geography and history of the Ninely Empire. Lin Xian was bored, so he took it over to read. Martial artists were still entering one after another, so the spirit vessel had not taken off yet. At this moment, the arrogant young man from before also walked towards the VIP area. It was obvious that they had bought the best seats. When the arrogant young man saw Murong Qingqing, his lips curled into a smile again. He strode over with his men in tow. Beauty, I realize that we are really fated to meet again, the arrogant young man said. Throughout the whole process, his eyes were fixed on Murong Qingqing and he did not look at Lin Xian at all. It was as if Lin Xian did not exist. Hearing this voice, Murong Qingqing opened her eyes, glanced at the other party and said coldly, Who are you? Why are you looking for me? I'm Chiyueka, the young master of the Chiyueka family. It's okay if you don't know me. We've met twice, so we're considered acquaintances. Fairy, are you going to Stellar Sky City? Great, I'm going too. Why don't we go together? With my Chiyueka family opening the way for you, I guarantee that you will have a smooth journey. Anything you want to do, you can do it. Chiyueka lifted his chin confidently. Oh, you're done? Then you can leave. Murong Qingqing still said coldly. She was not interested in whether the other party was a young master or not. Seeing the other party's attitude, Chiyueka's expression stiffened, and his face darkened. No one dared to reject the beauty that he had his eyes on. Moreover, no one could escape from his grasp. Therefore he was not in a hurry. After he got his hands on her, he would enjoy it. However, at this moment Lin Xian spoke. Are you done? If you're done, get lost. My wife wants to sleep and has no time for you. What? Wife? Hearing this, Chiyueka was stunned. The corner of his mouth twitched and he shifted his gaze to Lin Xian. What did you say? Say it again? He gritted his teeth and said. Why, are you deaf? You didn't hear me? Lin Xian frowned. It seemed that this guy was not only arrogant, but his ears were also bad. Presumptuous. How dare you? Slap him. The three guards behind him shouted coldly. How dare someone talk to their young master like that? She's your wife. Stop joking. This fairy is the best in the world. How can you be worthy of her? You gigolo, you must be this fairy's shield. I know that the fairy likes to be quiet and doesn't like to be disturbed. That's why she's using you as a shield. But don't be too arrogant. You're definitely not worthy of her. The only one worthy of her is me. Ridiculous. Lin Xian sneered, then turned around and kissed Murong Qingqing's face. Then he said, How is it? Now you can prove that she's my wife. Alright, get lost if you have nothing to do. You're blocking my sunlight. Chapter 2254. What? The two of them were really a couple. He was so angry that his whole body was smoking. Damn it, the fairy that was so good had actually been taken. He could not accept this. Moreover, the other party's attitude was so arrogant. He was really courting death. Who was he? He was the young master of the Qiyu family. The Qiyu family was a large family in the Qianshan domain. Usually he could do whatever he wanted, and no one had ever dared to be disrespectful to him. But now, a brat actually dared to scold him? Going against him? He was really courting death. When the surrounding people saw this scene, they were also extremely shocked. Because previously in the main hall, this Chiyuku had already displayed an extremely arrogant attitude. He had chased away a king in public. This caused everyone to be terrified and no one dared to provoke him. But now, someone actually dared to challenge him? Could it be that he was crazy? Or was there something wrong with his head? They did not know, but they knew that the other party was going to be unlucky. Sure enough, in the next moment, Chiyuka's face was gloomy as he sneered. Men, throw this kid out for me. He was really mad. So what if the other party was a couple? Once he killed this kid, this supreme grade fairy in front of him would be his. Yes, young master. Behind him, 3 guards, one of whom was a middle-aged guard, walked out. His expression was very cold. He had an aquiline nose and a cold face. His body emitted a terrifying aura. That aura caused the air to freeze. This was a 5-star king and he was very powerful. One had to know that although middle ground was vast and there were many powerhouses, there were still very few who could become mighty figures. There were even fewer peerless mighty figures. Most people were still kings and 5-star kings were already considered experts. To be able to have a 5-star king as a guard, his identity and strength were definitely terrifying. When this 5-star king came out, he looked at Lin Xian and sneered. Kid, you actually dare to go against my young master. You really don't know what's good for you. Get out of here obediently. As he spoke, he stretched out his palm and grabbed in front of him. That palm bloomed with light, forming a palm of light that enveloped Lin Xian. It seemed that he wanted to throw Lin Xian out. Seeing this scene, the surrounding people exclaimed. Sure enough, the other party made a move. It seemed that this kid was going to be unlucky. The blue palm slapped down with a sharp force. This palm strike was capable of turning a king's body into meat paste. It was obvious that these people from the Crimson Moon clan had the intention to kill. The people in the distance exclaimed. Lin Xian's face darkened, and a hint of anger appeared in his eyes. These people really didn't know what was good for them. They actually dared to make a move on him. Thinking of this, he sneered. With a wave of his hand, a sharp light slashed out. The blue palm was instantly destroyed. Crack crack. In the next moment, a scream was heard. That 5-star king screamed crazily. His face was distorted and sweat was dripping down his face. That was because his palm had been directly broken. Damn brat. How dare you hurt me? I'll kill you. That person roared crazily and reached out with his left hand. Blue lightning condensed in his palm. Lin Xian coldly snorted. Try moving again. A cold killing intent appeared in his eyes. Feeling this terrifying gaze, the black-clothed man trembled. Deep fear appeared in his eyes. His body started to tremble inexplicably. A death-like threat rose from his heart. Therefore this palm strike could no longer continue. Damn it, what's going on? How can this brat's gaze be so terrifying? This 5-star king felt a chill in his heart. He had never encountered such a strange thing. As for the others, they were all stunned. What was going on? That 5-star king was actually injured? Heavens, they weren't dreaming, were they? They were all stunned. Chiyueka's face was gloomy and extremely ugly. He also did not expect this to happen. These 3 subordinates of his were all 5-star kings. They were very powerful. Usually when he dealt with people, it was like swatting flies. But now he had actually failed. Not only that, but his subordinates were also injured. Who exactly was this brat? Could it be that he was an expert? Chiyueka's King Lin Xian's eyes flickered. How dare you hurt my people? You're courting death. No one can save you today. Chiyueka's face was gloomy. He waved his hand and the other 2 guards also walked up. These 2 guards' eyes were cold, and their bodies emitted a powerful aura. They even drew their swords and sabers. They had also seen the previous situation. One of their companions was inexplicably injured. This made them extremely surprised. Therefore they did not want to be careless at all and prepared to attack with all their might. Seeing that the battle was about to break out, a maidservant walked over from behind. Behind her there was a group of guards. These people were law enforcers who protected the safety and stability of the spirit boat. They said coldly. No fighting was allowed on the spirit boat. This was the rule. This rule was set by the dynasty. Violating the rule was going against the entire dynasty. A cold voice sounded. Hearing this, the other 2 guards did not attack. Instead, they turned to look at Chiyueka. Chiyueka's face was gloomy as he snorted coldly. Brat, consider yourself lucky this time. But wait. When we reach Stellar Sky City, I'll deal with you. He snorted coldly and left with the group of people. Although he could not make a move now, it did not matter. These 2 were flying to Stellar Sky City. And their Chiyueka family was a large family in Qianshan region. It was absolutely terrifying. When the other party landed, he would let them know the consequences of daring to go against him. Seeing that the people from the Chiyueka family had left, the guards on the spirit boat secretly heaved a sigh of relief. Then they turned around and left. All right, the flies have left. Rest in peace for a while. Lin Xian turned around, looked at Murong Qingqing and smiled gently. Murong Qingqing nodded and snuggled into Lin Xian's arms again. She did not sleep, but her big eyes narrowed into crescents. She whispered, "You rascal, who did you say I was to you? Of course you're my wife." Lin Xian whispered into the man's ear. "You're mine for the rest of your life. If anyone dares to have any ideas about you, I'll definitely cripple him." Murong Qingqing felt warm in her heart. At this moment, Lin Xian said again, "Qingqing, I really wonder if you're the reincarnation of a flower fairy. Your body is too fragrant." "You rascal, when did you learn to be so glib?" Murong Qingqing blushed and gently pinched Lin Xian. Then she said, "I'm going to ignore you." The two of them flirted here. When Chiyueka saw this scene, he was so angry that his whole body trembled and he almost spat out a mouthful of blood. He was so angry that he went crazy. He swore that he would definitely kill this brat and snatch that beauty over. When the surrounding warriors saw this scene, they were also shocked. Chapter 2255. Previously in the hall, Chiyueka was very powerful and no one was their match. And this young man and woman seemed to be alone, and they didn't emit any powerful aura. They should be ordinary cultivators. But they didn't expect that kid to be so powerful. He injured a 5-star king with a raise of his hand. By the looks of it, these two people should be geniuses as well. That's right, that kid is quite powerful. I didn't expect him to be so strong at such a young age. What's the use of being strong? He's in big trouble. However, some people also shook their heads and sneered. Do you know who that young man is? That's the young master of the Qiyu family. What, the Qiyu family? You're saying that those people are from the Qiyu family? Hearing this, many people gasped and a trace of fear appeared in their eyes. In the Qianshan domain, everyone knew about the Qiyu family. It was a very terrifying family and it was definitely a huge force. No wonder that young man was so arrogant and had 3 5-star kings as bodyguards. It turned out that he was the young master of the Qiyu family. When they thought of this, they looked at Lin Xian with pity in their eyes. It's over, this kid is really finished. Even a 6-star king wouldn't be enough to offend the Qiyu family. Not only that, even a mighty figure would be finished. The terror of the family was absolutely unimaginable. This kid dared to provoke the young master of the Qiyu family. He would definitely die. With that young man's attitude, he would probably attack as soon as he got off the spirit boat. Everyone discussed animatedly. Chiyueka and the others sneered. Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing didn't care at all. What 5-star king? The young master of the Qiyu family was not worth mentioning at all. One had to know that Lin Xian was someone who even dared to kill the war race's prodigy, let alone the Qiyu family. Not long after, the spirit boat took off and turned into a stream of light in the sky. Some of the cultivators on the spirit boat were sleeping, some were drinking tea and some were chatting. There were also those who were flipping through the strange things on the table. After about half a day, the speed of the spirit boat gradually slowed down and fell downwards. Everyone knew that it should be about time. Indeed, not long after, the spirit boat slowly landed. Boom. The door opened and the sunlight from outside spilled in. The beautiful maidservant also spoke in a sweet voice. Everyone, we have arrived at the Stellar Sky City. These martial artists got up one after another and walked outside. Chiyueka sneered, waved his hand and left with his people. At the same time he said, "Go and bring some people over. We have to deal with this brat." "Don't worry, young master," one of the guards said. The other guard's figure flashed and quickly disappeared into the void. Seeing that his men had left, Chiyueka hugged the two beauties and turned to look at Lin Xian and the others. His eyes were extremely cold. Soon the group left Linzhou. When the surrounding martial artists saw this scene, their scalps went numb. It was over. It seemed like the young master of the Qiyu clan had gone to look for someone. That brat is definitely dead. Daring to offend the Red Moon clan in the Qianshan domain, he must have lost his mind. That was for sure. His fate would definitely be very miserable and he would probably be killed on the spot. Many people were discussing and looking at Lin Xian with pity in their eyes. They guessed that Lin Xian was only a little stronger and did not have any background at all. Such a person who offended a clan would end up in a miserable state. When Lin Xian saw this scene, he sneered. It was fine if the other party did not make a move, but if they did, then don't blame him for being impolite. Although he did not want to find trouble, he was not the kind of person who would be bullied. In the next moment he took Murong Qingqing's small hand and said softly, "Let's go." The two of them walked down the spirit boat hand in hand. Outside was a huge square. There was a pentagram array under their feet that flickered with runes. There were martial artists coming and going around. They were in a hurry. Some left and some boarded the spirit boat. They had no choice. The recent beast tide made them not dare to fly, so they could only take the spirit boat. The sun was just right, shining down. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes and looked around. He did not find that arrogant young man, so he asked, "Qingqing, how are we going to your senior sister's house?" "Before coming, I've already sent a message to my senior sister. I think she should be coming to pick us up. Let's go out." The two of them walked out. However, just as they were about to leave, a few figures stopped them. The two figures emitted an extremely terrifying aura. They were like demon kings staring at Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing. Not far away, Chiyueka was hugging two beauties and sneered. There were more than a dozen black-clothed martial artists beside him. Each of them had a powerful aura and carried a sword on their back. "Kid, you're very arrogant. How dare you go against me? Don't you know whose territory this is? How dare you hit my subordinates? You want to snatch the girls I like? Today I'll let you know how the word death is written. Men, do it. Invite the fairy over. As for this kid, break his limbs and bring him over. I'll torture him to death. I've recently raised a fiery demonic wolf. I can use the little demonic beast he gave me as food. Don't worry, young master. He's just a kid. I can kill him with a slap." The black-clothed men sneered. They moved quickly like ghosts and instantly formed an encirclement. They surrounded Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing. Seeing this scene, the surrounding martial artists were shocked. How could someone dare to make a move here? Did they want to die? The martial artists who came with Lin Xian were also shocked. It was as they had guessed. The young master of the Qiyu family had indeed made a move. It seemed that this kid was really dead. Weren't they from the Qiyu family? How could someone dare to provoke the Qiyu family? Where did these two people come from? Did they want to die? Many people recognized the identity of these black-clothed men and stopped to watch from afar. It was human nature to watch a show. Even if these people had cultivated to the king realm, it was hard to change their nature. Therefore, the surrounding warriors all rushed over and gathered together in a short period of time. At the same time, on a wide street outside the exit, 3 snow-white ice snow lions were pulling an exquisite carriage as they slowly walked over. These 3 ice snow lions were emitting a blue light and emitting a cold aura. From afar they looked extraordinary. As expected, along the way the martial artists on the side of the road all looked over and sucked in a breath of cold air. Demonic Beast Kings. The 3 ice snow lions were actually 5-star demonic beast kings. Using 5-star demonic beast kings to pull a carriage. The person who came was really generous. It was the second daughter of the Zhao family. Many people exclaimed when they saw this scene. It was obvious that this was not their first time seeing this. Chapter 2256. Her face was delicate, and her black hair was draped over her shoulders. She was wearing a long red dress. At this moment she was holding a snow-white ball of fur in her arms. It was a newborn snow lion. Its entire body was snow-white without a trace of impurities. This snow lion was extraordinarily talented. It had reached the level of a 1-star demon king when it was just born. Moreover, it contained a special bloodline power. This beauty was so happy that she hugged it all day long. At this moment, the carriage slowly drove and arrived in front of a square. Then it stopped at the side of the road. 3 snow lions squatted there, emitting a terrifying aura. No one dared to approach them. In fact, even without the 3 snow lions, just the sword symbol on the carriage was enough to scare away a group of people. That was because it was the emblem of the Zhao family. The beautiful woman in the car stopped. In front, a snow lion spoke in human language. "Master, there seems to be a sea of people in front. There seems to be some movement." "Oh, is that so?" Hearing this, the delicate beauty raised her eyebrows and revealed a look of interest. "Little darling, shall we go out and take a look?" The delicate beauty looked at the little snowball in her arms and said softly. Then her figure flashed and she got out of the carriage and walked forward. It was indeed very lively in front. Countless people surrounded and watched as if something big was happening. In this place there were 2 figures standing. It was Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing. There were more than 10 martial artists around them. These people were not ordinary martial artists. They were all kings. The weak ones were 3-star kings. The strong ones were 4-star and 5-star kings. A total of more than 10 people stood together at this moment. It was really terrifying. Together, they formed a terrifying domain that suppressed this part of the world. The surrounding martial artists felt this aura, and their expressions changed. They swallowed their saliva crazily. The surrounding people were shocked, but Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing looked indifferent. It was just a group of ordinary kings. They were no threat to them. However, when Qiyueka saw this indifferent expression, he gnashed his teeth in anger. Damn it, what's going on? Why aren't these two afraid at all? How is this possible? One had to know that he was truly surprised. Among the people he had brought with him, there were already 5 5-star kings. There were also so many 4-star kings. If 3-star kings were to join forces, they would definitely be terrifying. Usually, as long as he called out to his subordinates, they would definitely be scared witless. But now the other party was actually indifferent. How was this possible? He couldn't believe it. Damn it, pretentious, he must be pretentious. In his opinion, the other party must be faking it. In fact, he was already terrified. However, to dare to show off in front of him, he was really courting death. So, in the next moment, the Scarlet Moon Roar coldly snorted. What are you guys still standing there for? Hurry up and attack. Hearing this, the king tears all laughed coldly. Kid, you actually dared to offend the young master? You really don't know what's good for you. Kneel down obediently and accept your death. The auras of these kings were extremely terrifying. Their king domains surged out and violent energy surged out like waves, shaking the heavens and earth. This momentum was extremely terrifying. The entire sky was trembling like 10,000 waves. It was extremely majestic. Seeing this scene, Qiyueka laughed crazily again. Brat, I'll let you show off. Are you trying to act cool? I don't believe that you can escape. Don't worry, I won't kill you. I'll let you see how I play with your woman. As he spoke, Qiyueka laughed wildly. His gaze was once again fixed on Murong Qingqing, and his eyes were emitting a terrifying light. Murong Qingqing snorted coldly, her small face cold. Lin Xian's face completely darkened. A cold, killing intent appeared in his eyes, and a terrifying aura was surging out. It was as if a killing god had awakened. You dare to release killing intent? You dare to release killing intent towards me? Qiyueka felt the other party's gaze and his heart beat wildly. He subconsciously took a step back. But soon, his expression became extremely ugly. The other party actually dared to release killing intent towards him. He really didn't know what was good for him. He swore that he would torture the other party to death. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Originally, I didn't want to make a move on you because killing an ant like you is really meaningless. But you actually dared to insult my wife. You've committed an unforgivable crime. Now kneel down and apologize to my wife. I can spare your life. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. Hearing this, everyone was stunned. The surrounding kings were all dumbfounded. What was going on? What was this kid saying? Qiyueka was also stunned. He seemed to not dare to believe his ears. The other party actually dared to threaten him and even dared to ask him to kneel down and apologize? The next moment he laughed angrily. Kid, do you know who you're talking to? Qiyueka sneered again and again. The two beauties around him also sneered disdainfully. Qiyueka was the young master of the Qiyueka family. How noble was their identity? Who dared to provoke them? Usually it was only others who knelt to them. Who dared to make the young master of the Qiyueka family kneel? Wasn't this courting death? Not only was it courting death, but it was also a crime that could lead to the extermination of the family. This kid in front of him actually dared to say such words. It seemed that the outcome would be worse than death. Kid, very good. You're the first person who dared to provoke me. Don't worry, I won't let you die so easily. I'll make you my slave. Every day I'll skin you, tear your tendons and train your soul. I'll let you taste the feeling of living a life worse than death. Go, the few of you, capture him for me. At the end, Qiyueka roared angrily. It was obvious that the previous words had infuriated him. The dozen or so kings in black also had gloomy expressions. Kid, since you're courting death, don't blame us. Boom. The kings shouted coldly and used all kinds of martial arts skills crazily. It was as if the sky was falling and the earth was splitting. Boom. A golden sword rose into the air, blooming in the sky and emitting waves of thunder. A large black hand covered the sky, emitting a terrifying aura. The two blades were like the Milky Way, releasing murderous intent. Lightning, wind, hail, countless energies gathered in the sky and were about to fall. However, at this moment, a cold voice came from behind. All of you stop. What? Hearing this voice, everyone was stunned. What was going on? Someone dared to meddle in the affairs of the Qiyueka family? Did they not want to live anymore? Heavens, what was going on? Why did someone dare to challenge the Qiyueka family? Qiyueka was also stunned. Just when he was happy, someone dared to interrupt him. Who was it? His eyes were cold as he suddenly turned his head. He wanted to see who was so daring to meddle in his affairs. However, in the next moment when he turned around and looked through the crowd, he was stunned. Chapter 2257. Stop. All of you stop. In the next moment he shouted crazily. The dozen or so kings in black were stunned. What's going on? Young master wants us to stop? That was beyond their expectations. However, they still did as they were told. All of a sudden the energy in the sky disappeared. What? He really stopped? The kings who were watching the show were all stunned as well. Who on earth had such great power? Who could make the young master of the Qiyu family stop? They were extremely puzzled, so they also turned their heads to look. On the other side, Lin Xian was also puzzled. He already wanted to attack. After all, the dozen or so kings were like ants in his eyes. He could kill them with a wave of his hand. However, someone had stopped him. Who is it? At the side, Murong Qingqing smiled and said, My senior sister is here. Senior sister? Hearing that, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes and looked forward. In front of him, a beautiful figure walked over. That was a woman with jet black hair and an exquisite complexion. She wore a long red dress that added a bit of charm to her appearance. In her arms she was holding a furry snowball. It was very cute. It's her. She's here. Many kings recognized him and they all gasped in shock. Chiyueka's expression also became extremely serious. He was shocked, but soon he smiled and said, Sister Jiruo, why are you here? However, this beautiful woman did not care at all. It was as if the Red Moon Stallion did not exist. She walked straight ahead. Junior sister, you're finally here. Walking in front of Murong Qingqing, the beautiful woman smiled like 100 flowers blooming. Everyone was dumbfounded by this scene. However, hearing that voice, everyone's hearts beat wildly. What's going on? Do they know each other? Seeing that the other party ignored him, Chiyueka's expression became extremely ugly, and a deep sense of anger appeared in his heart. However, he did not dare to show it. Because the other party's identity was more precious than his. If he dared to attack her, he would definitely die. However, in the next moment he was stunned. What's going on? Do they know each other? How is that possible? Senior sister. Murong Qingqing said with a smile. Hearing this, Scarlet Moondrake was even more shocked. The surrounding people also cried out in surprise. The two of them were actually from the same sect. The second daughter of the Zhao family seemed to be cultivating in the Jade Lake sacred ground of the eastern state. This woman called her senior sister. Could it be that she was also from the Jade Lake sacred ground? It's over, it's over. The Crimson Moon clan has really kicked an iron plate. The Jade Lake Holy Land was an incomparably terrifying existence. Who would have thought that this woman actually had such a background? However, there were also people who shook their heads. So what? Although the Jade Lake was powerful, it was in the eastern wilderness and it was tens of thousands of miles away. No matter how strong they are, I'm afraid they won't be able to reach us. It couldn't do anything about it, but the Zhao family could. Zhao Jiruo turned her head and looked behind her. Then she frowned and asked, What happened? That, Sister Jiruo, it's a misunderstanding. I have a misunderstanding with these two. I will take them away now. Chiyueka hurriedly said. Misunderstanding? Zhao Jiruo frowned. Lin Xian even snorted coldly. Stop right there. Did I say you could leave? His voice was like thunder, resounding in all directions. Everyone's scalp went numb. Chiyueka and the others also stopped in their tracks. Zhao Jiruo turned her head and looked at Lin Xian. Junior sister, this is? He's my husband. Murong Qingqing smiled. What? Zhao Jiruo was extremely shocked. Husband? How is this possible? When did Murong Qingqing have a husband? Why didn't she know? However, looking at the two of them, it didn't seem like they were faking it. Therefore, she subconsciously took a few more glances. Then she nodded slightly. His appearance was indeed not bad. He was very handsome. However, she couldn't see through his cultivation. Although the other party was fierce, his aura wasn't very clear. She couldn't see through his cultivation. Forget it. Let's deal with the things here first. Zhao Jiruo said again. Chiyueka, since you have offended my junior sister, hurry up and apologize. Yes, I'll apologize now. Chiyueka said, I'm sorry. I was blind before and offended the two of you. Please forgive me. He didn't dare to be arrogant anymore because the fairy in front of him was Zhao Jiruo's junior sister. He knew that Zhao Jiruo's sect was the Jade Lake Sacred Ground. Although the Jade Lake Sacred Ground was far away, the Zhao family was local, and their strength was stronger than his Chiyueka family. Therefore, with the Zhao family's support, he didn't dare to be presumptuous in front of the two of them. After apologizing, Chiyueka wanted to leave because he didn't have the face to stay here. However, Lin Xian merely sneered. What? Was it over just like that? What do you want? Seeing that the other party was still unwilling to give up, Chiyueka's face darkened. After all, he was the young master of a big family. Apologizing in public was already giving the other party face. Lin Xian sneered. I said, kneel down and apologize and I can spare your life. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. What? He really wants to kneel down and apologize? The surrounding people were shocked. Chiyueka's face became even uglier. Kneel? How could that be? He was the young master of the Chiyueka family. Although he had done something wrong and apologized, kneeling down was out of the question. Because if he kneeled down, it wouldn't just be his own face being slapped. The entire Chiyueka family would be humiliated as well. It was impossible for him to kneel down. However, Zhao Zhirua sighed. Chiyueka, you'd better kneel down and apologize. What? Hearing that, the crowd was even more confused. Could it be that Chiyueka was really going to kneel down? Chiyueka's face darkened when he heard that, and a hint of ferocity appeared in his eyes. Sister Zhirua, I'm apologizing to these two people because I'm giving you face. However, don't go too far. You're from the Jade Lake sacred ground, but the Jade Lake is in the eastern wilderness and this is Zhongzhou. Besides, although the Zhao family is powerful, the Chiyueka family is not to be trifled with. Don't forget, we're also the sixth prince's people. Threatening me? Chiyueka, you're courting death. Zhao Zhirua also frowned, and the smile on her face disappeared. Lin Xian snorted coldly. I'll give you one last chance. Kneel down and apologize. Or die. Kid, you're courting death. Sister Zhirua, you've seen it for yourself. It's these people who are bullying me. I have to take action. When I catch them, I'll apologize to you in the Upper Zhao mansion. Chiyueka's face was filled with ferocity as he said that. He roared angrily, attack. Take this kid down. He was mad with anger. He was really mad with anger. The other party had asked him to kneel down and apologize again and again. He couldn't stand it. Hearing that order, the kings around him also roared ferociously, and their domains surged out quickly. Swords, sabers, divine wind, and raging flames quickly rushed down. Chapter 2258. He attacked. Scarlet Crescent Drake actually attacked. The surrounding people were extremely shocked. They did not expect Scarlet Crescent Drake to dare to attack at this time. It seemed that this kid was really going to die. However, in the next moment, a cold snort was heard. Boom. The king's domains that filled the sky directly shattered into countless pieces. More than a dozen kings' faces turned pale, and they vomited large mouthfuls of blood. Their faces were filled with fear and disbelief. The people around them were also going crazy. What happened? A voice actually shattered more than a dozen kings' domains. Heavens, who exactly is this kid? How strong is he? They did not dare to imagine. Buzz buzz buzz. Puff puff puff. In the next moment they screamed. That was because the bodies of the black-clothed kings who attacked were all split in half and fell to the ground. Blood instantly dyed the ground red. Many people screamed, and Scarlet Crescent Drake's pupils constricted. His face was pale without a trace of blood. The two beauties in his arms were also trembling. Everyone was dumbfounded. They did not expect that more than a dozen kings would be killed in an instant. They did not have the strength to fight back at all. At this moment, everyone looked at Lin Xian and trembled. An expert. This was definitely an incomparably terrifying expert. Lin Xian did not even make a move. With just a glance he killed those people. Buzz. He stared at Scarlet Crescent Drake again and said coldly, kneel down and apologize or die. I'll kneel down. Feeling that cold gaze, Scarlet Crescent Drake's body trembled. He did not dare to be arrogant anymore. At this moment, the glory of his family and face were all thrown to the back of his mind. His life was the most important. With a plop, he directly knelt on the ground and kowtowed non-stop. Hero, please spare me. I was wrong. I deserve to die 1,000 times. As he spoke, he kept slapping his face. Seeing this scene, everyone went crazy. Was this still the high and mighty young master Scarlet Crescent Drake? They could not believe it. My mouth is cheap, so I'll slap myself. Scarlet Crescent Drake slapped his own face. The surrounding people were stunned, and Zhao Zhirua was also silent. He was afraid that this kneel would create a grudge with the Scarlet Moon clan. Although the Zhao family was stronger than the Qiyu family, the Qiyu family was no pushover either. They were also one of the big clans in Qianshan domain. Moreover, he was inextricably linked to the sixth prince. It could be said that unless it was absolutely necessary, their Zhao family did not wish to go against the Qiyu family. However, since it had already happened, it was useless to say anything more. If the Qiyu clan came knocking on their door, the Zhao family would welcome them with open arms. Furthermore, the Red Moon dagger was in the wrong in the first place. Therefore Zhao Zhirua did not mind. Ahead, Chiyueka knelt and begged for mercy, saying, "Hero, can you find me now? I'm leaving right now." Su Qin sneered. "Did I say you could leave?" Chiyueka, who was just about to leave, stiffened and then became angry. Damn it. He had already knelt down and apologized, but the other party still refused to let him go? What do you want? At the thought of this, his face became ferocious and he suddenly raised his head. "Kid, don't go too far." "Too far? I'm going too far. What can you do about it?" Lin Xian sneered. "I said that I could spare your life, but I never said that I would let you go." At this point, a cold murderous intent appeared in Lin Xian's eyes again. Then, his eyes turned into two sharp rays of light that pierced forward. "Damn it, how dare you attack me?" Seeing the two rays of light flying over, Chiyueka was scared out of his wits. He roared crazily and the jade pendant, necklace and ring on his body emitted a misty light. It formed 3 light curtains that enveloped him. However, it was of no use. Crack, crack, crack. The sound of something shattering could be heard. The 3 light curtains instantly shattered, and then the 2 rays of light pierced into his dantian. With a boom, the spiritual sea in his body was completely shattered. Chiyueka screamed crazily on the ground, and his face became distorted. "How dare you cripple my cultivation? I'm going to kill you. I'll definitely kill you." He was really crazy. The other party had crippled his cultivation with a raise of his hand. This made him feel worse than death. One had to know that although he was not strong, he was still a 5-star king. He was usually arrogant not only because of his identity but also because of his strength. And now, his cultivation had been crippled. From a high and mighty king he became an ordinary person. How could he accept this kind of disparity? So he screamed crazily. Lin Xian sneered. "You still want to kill me?" As he spoke, he walked over in large strides. Feeling the other party's gradually approaching figure, Chiyueka was scared out of his wits. "You dare to touch me? You're dead. If you kill me, my Chiyueka family will definitely not let you go." Chiyueka was really scared. The other party's methods were definitely extremely powerful. He could not imagine it at all. If the other party killed him, he might not even have a place to cry. The surrounding people were also terrified. Even Zhao Zhirua frowned. Making the Scarlet Moondrake apologize and killing the Scarlet Moondrake were 2 completely different matters. The former was just a slap to the Chiyueka family's face. The Zhao family could still suppress it. However, if he really killed Chiyueka, he would become a mortal enemy of the Chiyueka family. This would definitely make the Chiyueka family go crazy. "Kill you? You think too much. A piece of trash like you is not worthy of me killing you. However, since you dare to have ideas about my wife, I'll make sure you have no fate with women in this lifetime." As he spoke, Lin Xian raised his foot and stepped on Chiyueka's lower body. Crack. Chiyueka was in so much pain that he fainted a few times. The surrounding people also trembled. They felt a chill down there as if they were about to shatter. What happened? Not only did this kid cripple Chiyueka's cultivation, but he also crippled his family jewels? Everyone was sweating profusely and swallowing their saliva. It's over. In this situation, the Chiyueka family would definitely not let this go. No matter how strong this kid was, it was impossible for him to fight against the entire Chiyueka family, right? That was for sure. The Chiyueka family was so powerful. There were countless kings and powerful figures. Any few powerful figures would be able to kill this kid. This kid was too arrogant. Did he think that with the Zhao family behind him he could do whatever he wanted? The Chiyueka family was not to be trifled with. Everyone was discussing and felt that Lin Xian had gone too far. Zhao Zhirua's eyes flickered, but she did not say anything. As long as Chiyueka was not dead, everything would be easy. Boom, boom, boom. At this moment, countless lights appeared in the sky. One after another, human figures descended quickly. These were groups of guards. There were about 20 of them. They were naturally the guards of Stellar Sky City. When they saw a fight below, they naturally wanted to come over. Who was fighting here? Did they not know the city rules? A shout was heard. Then more than 20 people descended. Chapter 2259. Uncle Chi, you're here. Quick, kill this kid for me. He crippled me. Seeing the guards land, Red Moon Kettle screamed crazily again. It was as if he had grabbed onto a life-saving straw. Young Master Red Moon. The middle-aged leader of the guards was shocked when he saw Red Moon Kettle lying on the ground. What's going on? Someone dares to attack young Master Red Moon? Does he want to die? The next moment he roared, "Men, capture that kid." The middle-aged leader pointed at Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted coldly. What? You want to fight? Don't you want to know what happened? Don't you want to know who's right and who's wrong? We don't need to know. All we know is that you dared to injure young Master Red Moon. You're dead meat. Good, you don't care about right or wrong. I like this way of doing things. Lin Xian snorted coldly, then waved his hand impatiently. Do it, don't waste my time. You're courting death. Attack. The middle-aged man roared, and the 20 guards behind him quickly attacked. The long spear in his hand transformed into numerous flood dragons that surrounded Lin Xian. Get lost. Lin Xian shouted coldly as he looked at the 20 figures charging at him with his hands behind his back. Boom, 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 boom. The sound waves were like thunder rolling out with unparalleled power. In an instant, the 20 spears exploded into pieces. The martial artists spat out mouthfuls of blood as if they were struck by lightning. Their armor was shattered and many of their bones were broken. So powerful! Everyone exclaimed. The middle-aged man's pupils constricted. He did not expect Lin Xian to be so powerful. Whoosh! The next moment his vision blurred. A figure appeared in front of him, then he felt a grip on his neck. Lin Xian appeared in front of the middle-aged man, grabbed his neck with one hand, lifted him up and asked coldly. Why? Do you still dare to convict me? No, I dare. The middle-aged man shook his head frantically. I've offended you, young master. Please spare my life. Get lost. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He waved his arm and threw the middle-aged man to the ground. Everyone around was completely stunned. Even Scarlet Moon Ku was stunned on the ground. The immense pain continued, but his mind was still blank. He knew that the young man in front of him was beyond his imagination. If he was arrogant, the other party might really kill him. Therefore he didn't dare to say anything. He only wanted to return to his family and get his family to send out countless powerful figures to kill the other party. On the other side, Zhao Zhirua's eyes flickered. To be honest, judging from the attacks of Lin Xian and the others, their strength had definitely surpassed that of a 5-star king. As for whether they were a 6-star king or an almighty being, she wasn't sure. However, in her eyes he should only be a 6-star king. After all, only the saintesses and saints could become almighties in their 20s. Whoosh! In a flash, Lin Xian appeared beside Murong Qingqing and said, "Let's go." Okay. Zhao Zhirua nodded and the group walked out. Wherever he passed, the crowd automatically moved aside. No one dared to block his path. What a joke. The strength that Lin Xian displayed had shocked them. After Lin Xian and the other two left, the entire square was in an uproar. Everyone was discussing animatedly. Powerhouse, this was a true powerhouse. With a wave of his hand, he killed more than a dozen almighties. With a roar, he sent countless guards flying. Just thinking about this scene made people excited. However, Scarlet Moon Ku kept swallowing pills and roaring at the same time. Damn it, men! Escort me for my family. I must kill him. Scarlet Moon family. When the Scarlet Moon Kettle was carried in, the entire family exploded. Endless flames of fury burned, and smoke signals soared into the sky. Anger, endless anger. When they saw the crippled Scarlet Moon Ku, they were all furious. Moreover, when they heard that Scarlet Moon family actually knelt down to someone else, they were so angry that they vomited blood. They were the Scarlet Moon family, a big family in the Qianshan domain. When had they ever been humiliated like this? Not only did the other party make Scarlet Moon Ku kneel down and slap the Scarlet Moon family's face, but he also crippled Scarlet Moon Ku's cultivation and family jewels. This was the rhythm of starting a war with the Scarlet Moon family. Damn it! Who was it? Who did it? The patriarch of the Scarlet Moon family was a middle-aged man. He wore a purple robe and his face was cold. His eyes were filled with endless anger. It's a young man. We don't know his identity. However, he's related to the Zhao family. Previously in the square, it was the second daughter of the Zhao family, Zhao Zhirua, who personally picked them up. The Zhao family. Hearing those words, the Scarlet Moon family's patriarch and the surrounding elders all frowned. How did this matter have anything to do with the Zhao family? Send someone to investigate thoroughly. We must get detailed information. Countless warriors moved out and used the Scarlet Moon family's huge information network to investigate. Sure enough, 4 hours later the news came back. Patriarch, that man and woman. The woman is Zhao Jirua's junior sister, and the man and woman are lovers. However, we still don't know the identity of that young man. Junior sister? Jade Lake's sacred ground. Hearing this, the patriarch of the Scarlet Moon family frowned and then snorted. So what? This is middle ground. Their hands can't reach so far. Men, go to the Zhao family and ask them for me. I don't believe that the Zhao family dares to stop me. The patriarch of the Scarlet Moon family was really angry. This time he must catch the culprit and tear him into pieces. Soon the Scarlet Moon family sent people. 2 Almighties and 4 6-star kings, a total of 5 people, soared into the sky and flew towards Stellar Sky City. On the other side in Stellar Sky City, the Zhao family. The Zhao family was the strongest family in Stellar Sky City. Therefore it occupied an extremely large area. There were palaces and pavilions scattered all over the place. There were countless guards and the security was tight. There were arrays flashing on the ground and walls. It was obvious that this was a powerful family. Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing stayed in an exquisite pavilion. The surrounding environment was very good. There was a waterfall, a stream and countless gardens. Junior sister, the 2 of you should rest first. There's a banquet tonight. I'll bring you around tomorrow. Zhao Jirua chatted with the 2 of them for a while, then got up and left. When the Zhao family learned of Murong Qingqing's arrival, they were also very excited. They began to prepare for the banquet, planning to properly entertain Murong Qingqing. After all, although she was only Zhao Jirua's junior sister, her status was much more noble than Zhao Jirua's. The Zhao family did not dare to neglect her. In the evening, Zhao Jirua and the patriarch of the Zhao family, a middle-aged man, personally came to invite Murong Qingqing. Behind them, a group of elders followed. Saintess, please. The patriarch of the Zhao family smiled. The patriarch of the Zhao family is too polite, Murong Qingqing said with a smile. Then she held Lin Xian's arm and the 2 of them set off for the banquet. The Zhao family did not know about Lin Xian's identity, but they thought that his relationship with Murong Qingqing was definitely not shallow. Chapter 2260. The banquet was very lively. The patriarch of the Zhao family and the elders of the Zhao family all attended. Other than that, the outstanding young people also came. They also wanted to see how beautiful the Jade Lake Saintess was. When the young people of the Zhao family saw Murong Qingqing, they were all shocked. They had seen a lot of beauties and they had seen a lot of peerless beauties as well. However, compared to Murong Qingqing, all of them seemed to pale in comparison. However, when they saw the handsome young man sitting next to Murong Qingqing, they all shook their heads and sighed. Judging from their behavior, they were undoubtedly a couple. Such a peerless beauty actually had a partner. This made their hearts ache. However, they did not dare to act rashly. However, everyone's gaze was fixated on Lin Xian. They were very curious about the identity of the other party. Judging from his current aura, his aura was not fierce. Could it be that he was just a gigolo? They were very confused. Boom. Halfway through the banquet, there was a sudden roar in the sky, followed by countless brilliant lights like fireworks. They lit up in the sky. What was going on? Seeing this, everyone put down their wine glasses. The patriarch of the Zhao family also frowned. It was obvious that the defensive array of the Zhao family had been activated. Whoosh! A warrior of the Zhao family flew over from afar, landed on the ground and knelt down on one knee. Reporting to the patriarch, someone tried to attack but we stopped them. However, the other party came aggressively and threatened to hand over the murderer. Hand over the murderer? What murderer? The elders of the Zhao family also frowned. It was a good banquet, why would someone come knocking on their door? How dare they behave so atrociously in the Zhao family? Did they want to die? Who dares to be so presumptuous? An elder asked coldly. They are from the Qiyu family, led by 2 powerful figures. They want the Zhao family to hand over the murderer who injured Qiyu Ku. The Qiyu family. Many people were discussing. Zhao Jirua frowned and glanced at Lin Xian. Many people around them also looked over. They had also heard about what had happened during the day. This matter had spread throughout the entire Stellar Sky City, and it was hard for them not to know about it. For a moment, everyone was discussing spiritedly. The few elders were also discussing. Jirua, what do you think about this matter? An elder said in a deep voice. Zhao Jirua's eyes flickered and she was about to say something. However, before she could open her mouth, Lin Xian indifferently said, since they are here for me, I will go out and meet them. With that, Lin Shen stood up. Seeing this scene, the surrounding people were all stunned, and the elders were all extremely shocked. The youngsters were even more shocked. Many of them curled their lips, thinking that the other party was just showing off. That was because the Crimson Moon clan did not send ordinary kings. They were two almighties. Almighty, that was an elder-level existence. The difference between an almighty being and an ordinary king was like the difference between heaven and earth. No matter how powerful this kid in front of him was, how could he possibly contend against a mighty figure? Furthermore, there were two of them. Sir Lin. The elders of the Zhao family also opened their mouths, wanting to persuade him. However, Lin Xian's figure flashed as he soared into the sky. Everyone was stunned. Zhao Zhirua also looked at Murong Qingqing with deep worry in her eyes. Is it okay to let him go by himself? Why don't I send someone to follow him? Murong Qingqing smiled faintly. Don't worry, senior sister, it's just two almighties. It won't affect brother Xian much. Just two almighties? Hearing this, everyone sucked in a breath of cold air and looked at Murong Qingqing, the corners of their mouths twitching. However, they were extremely puzzled. Because Murong Qingqing was the holy maiden, she might have the qualifications to say such words. But where did that kid get such confidence from? Could it be that that kid was also almighty? But how was that possible? An almighty in his 20s, other than the holy sons and holy daughters, who else could reach that level? This kid was obviously not a holy son. How could he be almighty? Why don't we go and take a look? A few young people whispered to each other. In the end, they all looked at the elders. The elders' eyes also flickered. To be honest, they didn't believe that Lin Xian could defeat those experts from the Qiyu clan. The patriarch was also a little worried. He said that since the experts of the Qiyu clan had come, then the Zhao family could not be rude. Someone go and welcome the Qiyu clan. Although it was said to welcome them, it was actually a tacit permission for them to go and watch the battle. Sure enough, when these words were said, the young disciples all cupped their fists and said, "Patriarch, I'm willing to go." But they soared into the sky looking impatient. In fact, two of the elders also waved their sleeves and followed after him. In an instant, many warriors at the banquet followed. However, Murong Qingqing did not go. She sat there with an indifferent expression. Zhao Zhirua was surprised. Are you really not worried? Senior sister, you'll know later. Murong Qingqing laughed. On the other side, outside the Zhao mansion, rays of light flickered, forming light screens that covered the entire sky. Outside the light screen there were 6 figures. 2 almighties and 4 six-star kings. They were the experts of the Qiyu clan. At this moment, their gazes were piercingly cold, and their bodies were surging with killing intent. Of the 2 almighties, one was a middle-aged man, and the other was an old man. The old man walked up and said loudly, "Our Qiyu clan has no intention of starting a war with the Zhao family. We only want to capture the culprit who injured our young master." What? Is the Zhao family trying to cover up for the culprit? Although the Zhao family is powerful, if this matter were to spread, you would probably be ridiculed by the world. The guards of the Zhao family had solemn expressions, as if they were facing a great enemy. Hearing this, they did not reply. They had already sent someone to inform the elders of the clan. They would probably make a decision soon. What they needed to do now was to protect these formations and prevent the other party from attacking. Seeing that the Zhao family did not reply, the almighties of the Qiyu clan in front of them had gloomy expressions. The middle-aged almighty also snorted coldly. What? Is the Zhao family not going to give an explanation? Explanation? What explanation do you want? At that moment, a sneer was heard. Following that, a light flashed and a handsome young man appeared in the sky. Seeing this young man, everyone was stunned. The people of the Qiyu clan also frowned. The old man snorted coldly. "Kid, who are you? Who are you to speak here? Ask your elders to come out." What an idiot. Lin Xian sneered disdainfully. "Aren't you here to capture the culprit? Why, you don't even recognize the culprit." What? Damn it. It's you. Chapter 2261. They didn't expect that the kid in front of them was the murderer they wanted to catch. However, he was really arrogant to have dared to come out. "Kid, you don't know what death is. If you had stayed in the Zhao family obediently like a coward, we would have killed you. Perhaps we wouldn't have been able to catch you. However, we didn't expect you to come out of your own accord. Since that's the case, don't blame us. Kneel down obediently and surrender. Come back to the family with us and we'll give you a quick death. Otherwise you'll suffer a fate worse than death." Lin Xian waved his hand impatiently. "Cut the crap. You just want to catch me, don't you? Go ahead and do it. Let's see if you have the ability. What? The young disciples of the Zhao family who had rushed over were all dumbfounded. Damn, this kid is too arrogant. He dares to talk so big in front of two almighties? Does he think that the Zhao family will help him? This kid is too arrogant. I'm worried that he'll be killed later. Maybe he'll be killed. The Zhao family won't let him be captured. However, it's certain that he'll be embarrassed. I really don't know where he got the right to be so arrogant. These people whispered to each other and watched the show from the back. The few elders who had rushed over also frowned. Although they also felt that Lin Xian was too arrogant, after some discussion, they still decided to save his life at the critical moment. After all, this was someone who had a close relationship with the Jade Lake Saintess. They wouldn't let him be in danger. The Zhao family was preparing to save him at the critical moment. On the other side, the cultivators of the Red Moon family were furious. This time they had 2 supreme beings and 4 six-star kings with them. Each of them was very powerful. And the other party, a little brat, actually dared to look down on them? Elder, let me go kill him. A 6-star king roared. Okay, go ahead. Be careful not to kill him. You must catch him alive. The old almighty nodded. Then the 6-star king who had spoken stood up with a sinister smile. He looked to be in his 30s, but his real age was more than 300 years old. Moreover, his cultivation had already reached the late-stage 6-star king realm. He was just 1 step away from reaching the almighty realm. Could be said that he was a genius. This person walked out, stood in the void and laughed coldly. Brat, get over here and accept your death. Seeing this person come out, the Zhao family began to discuss among themselves. It was actually him. New Red Moon. That's right, this was a genius of the Scarlet Moon clan. Rumor had it that he was about to reach the almighty realm. Unexpectedly, the first one to make a move was actually him. Looks like that kid is going to be out of luck. The young disciples of the Zhao family discussed animatedly. A few elders also secretly transmitted their voices and prepared to help. However, Lin Xian glanced at him and sneered disdainfully. Just you? It wasn't enough. The 6 of you can attack together. I don't have the time to accompany you here. What? The 6 of them attacked together. The corners of the Zhao family's mouths twitched. They increasingly felt that Lin Xian was too arrogant. On the other hand, the Qiyu clan was so angry that they vomited blood. Especially Qiyu Eshin, his face was gloomy, and a wisp of ferocity appeared in his eyes. Kid, you really don't know what's good for you? If you weren't in the array now, I could kill you with a slap. Is that so? Then try slapping me. Lin Xian sneered. He took a step forward and instantly left the Zhao family's defensive array. Fuck. That kid really left. The martial artists on the Zhao family's side were dumbfounded. Those from the Qiyu clan were also stunned. But soon that Scarlet Moon Shinshin started laughing maniacally. What a reckless fool. Bus. He raised his hand and slapped out. In the center of his palm, countless blue lights shone and turned into stars that rapidly descended from the sky. Astral palm. The palm covered the sky as if it was the universe that was mercilessly descending. What a terrifying energy. This new Red Moon clan had indeed surpassed an ordinary 6-star king. He was probably not far from becoming a true almighty. How dare you attack New Red Moon clan? You really don't know what's good for you. The Qiyu clan's martial artist sneered. Lin Xian raised his head and looked at the sky. Looking at the rapidly descending astral palm, the corners of his mouth curled up into a sneer. The next moment he also stretched out his palm and grabbed forward. You don't know the difference between life and death. If I were him, I would have escaped long ago. The young martial artists of the Zhao family discussed. The few elders of the Zhao family sighed and shook their heads. Sure enough, he was still too young and did not know the immensity of heaven and earth. Let's save him. They were ready to make a move, but soon they were stunned. In the sky, the incomparably mysterious astral palm transformed into countless stars, and all of them suddenly exploded. Stars exploded one after another, tearing through the void and forming black holes one after another. Boom. In an instant, the astral palm was torn apart. As for Qiyu Eshin, he also screamed in pain as his palm bled. His face was filled with horror. Damn it. What happened? Not only him but everyone else also did not know what had happened. However, in the next moment their vision blurred. Qiyu Eshin let out a blood-curdling scream. He felt a sharp hand grab his head and pull him far away. It was naturally Lin Xian's palm. He shattered the terrifying astral palm with one palm, then grabbed Qiyu Eshin and pulled him in front of him. Then he sneered. You want me to kneel and die? Surrender without a fight? You want me to die? Damn it. How is this possible? I don't believe it. Qi Yuexin screamed crazily. His opponent had broken his ultimate move with one palm. He even grabbed him. He did not dare to believe it. He was a genius. He was a powerhouse who was about to become an almighty. Damn it. Get lost. The energy in his body exploded, forming a terrifying storm that wanted to blast the kid in front of him to pieces. However, in an instant, his body turned cold because the violent energy in his body was instantly frozen into ice. You want me to kneel and die? Kneel down before me. Lin Xian held his head and pressed it gently. Qi Yuexin screamed in pain and knelt in midair. He did not kneel down of his own accord. He was pressed down forcefully. Therefore, his legs were instantly broken and turned into a bloody mist. Countless cracks appeared in the void below and spread to the surroundings. Everyone was stunned by this scene. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. He had subdued Qi Yuexin in an instant? How was that possible? The young warriors of the Zhao family were stunned. The elders were also stunned. They did not dare to believe it. The Qi Yuexin family was even more adorable. However, they soon came to their senses. Especially the two almighties, they roared crazily. Damn it, stop. He was a genius of the Qi Yuexin family. He would soon become an almighty. They would not allow anything to happen to such a person. Therefore, in the next moment, the two of them turned into shooting stars and rushed over quickly. Lin Xian looked at this scene and sneered. Fine, I'll return him to you. Chapter 2262. That's great. Seeing this, the two almighties smiled and heaved a sigh of relief in their hearts. However, in the next moment, their expressions became extremely ugly. That was because Qi Yu's new body suddenly exploded in midair, turning into a bloody mist that floated in the sky. Dead. A mighty late-stage 6-star king tier was actually killed in an instant. Everyone went crazy. The two almighties of the Qi Yu family even screamed crazily. Damn brat, I'm going to kill you. Let's attack together. The two almighties snorted coldly, and the 3 6-star kings behind them also rushed out quickly. Their king domains covered the surroundings. They blocked all of Lin Xian's escape routes. They wouldn't let the other party escape. However, why would Lin Xian escape? He had no intention of escaping at all. Looking at the people rushing towards him, his eyes gradually emitted a cold light. Buzz. He waved his arm and countless sword lights lit up in the sky. Each of them was as fast as lightning. Whoosh, whoosh. Then Lin Xian turned around and slowly descended towards the Zhao family. The martial artists of the Zhao family were stunned. What's going on? However, soon they screamed and almost fainted. In the sky, 2 almighties and 3 kings suddenly broke into pieces. Blood flowed wildly and the broken corpses fell to the ground. They were all dead. At this moment, the nearly 100 martial artists of the Zhao family, including the guards and elders, were all dumbfounded. Everyone was dumbfounded by this scene. What did they just see? 2 almighties and 3 6-star kings were killed in a single strike. When they came back to their senses, the elders of the Zhao family gasped. Their eyes were filled with horror. They were all almighties, so they naturally knew how difficult it was to kill an almighty. However, this man had slain 2 supreme beings with ease, and he had even taken 3 6-star kings with him. This could no longer be described as shocking. This was absolutely heaven-defying. At this moment, they finally understood why the other party was so nonchalant earlier. It was because he was definitely a top genius. He killed almighties like cutting grass. If they had such strength, they would not be worried. The young disciples of the Zhao family swallowed their saliva crazily. They looked at the figure in front of them and their scalps went numb. Previously, they thought that the other party was acting cool and that he was not worthy of Murong Qingqing. However, it seemed that they were very wrong. The other party's strength was definitely far beyond their imagination. It was even far beyond the almighties. They had never seen a young man about their age being so powerful. They did not even dare to think of chasing after him. After dealing with the members of the Crimson Moon clan, Lin Xian turned around and returned to the array. Then he said to the Zhao family's elders, "A few small shrimps, you've delayed our banquet. You better go back. However, I still need you to clean up the battlefield." Okay. The warriors and guards of the Zhao family nodded blankly. Even now, they couldn't believe what was happening in front of them. Lin Xian shrugged and turned around to return to the banquet. Zhao family of the banquet. At this moment, only a small number of people were left. Apart from the family head and a few elders, only Zhao Zhirua and Murong Qingqing of the younger generation were left. To be honest, apart from Murong Qingqing, these people were also puzzled. They did not know what was going on over there. However, at this moment, the sound of something breaking through the air came from afar. Then, a bolt of lightning descended towards the banquet. Seeing this scene, the elders all raised their heads. What was going on? Could it be that something had happened and they were here to report it? However, in the next moment they were stunned. This was because they realized that the figure was not a martial artist of the Zhao family, but Lin Xian. What was going on? Why did he come back? Could it be that he came back because he was afraid? Or did he not dare to come out? These elders thought so in their hearts. Zhao Zhirua had similar thoughts in her heart, so she frowned. In her opinion, the other party was too pretentious. If he did not dare to come out, then so be it. Why did he have to put on an act and come back halfway? In fact, she wanted to find a chance to persuade Murong Qingqing if it was worth it to associate with such a person. However, before she could say anything, countless figures quickly descended from behind. This time, it was the elders and young disciples of the Zhao family. Why did they all come back? Where were the people of the Qiyu family? Did they leave already? These people were very puzzled. Many elders laughed proudly. What Qiyu family? In front of the Zhao family they were nothing. They were probably frightened by the strength of the Zhao family, so they went back obediently. These people were immensely proud of themselves, but the elders who had just returned looked at these people strangely, speechless. What's going on? What's with your expressions? What happened? These people stopped laughing because they realized that these people who had just returned had serious expressions. Even the young people were pale, as if they had been frightened. What was going on? What happened? Great Elder asked. Where were the people of the Qiyu family? Could it be that you fought with them? Lin Xian returned to his seat and did not speak. As for the young people of the Zhao family, they seemed to have recalled something. Their bodies trembled and they did not dare to speak. A few elders of the Zhao family took a deep breath and said in a deep voice, "The people of the Qiyu family were killed." Was he killed? Who told you to do it? Great Elder Zhu frowned. Although they were not afraid of the Qiyu family, they were still a big family in the Qianshan region. They could not be underestimated. Unless it was absolutely necessary, they would not become enemies with such a family. But now, the people of the Qiyu family were killed by them. This would definitely cause a war between the two families. Great Elder, it was not us who did it. A few elders of the Zhao family shook their heads. They naturally knew how powerful it was. How could they kill the people of the Qiyu family? It was not you who did it? Then who did it? Great Elder Zhu frowned even more. Other than their elders, who else could have such strength? However, in the next moment he was stunned and subconsciously looked at Lin Xian. Could it be this kid? A thought arose in their minds, but they did not dare to believe it. However, when they saw the frightened faces of the people who had returned to watch the battle, their hearts beat wildly. Could it be that it was really this kid? Don't blame them. It was indeed me who did it. They were just a few small fries. How dare they jump around in front of me? I killed them while I was at it. Don't worry. If the people of the Qiyu family want to blame someone, just tell them to come to me. I won't cause any trouble for the Zhao family. What? It was really him. The elders who did not go exclaimed in disbelief. Chapter 2263. The Zhao family's patriarch spoke, and those few elders hurriedly recounted what had happened earlier. When these people heard that Lin Xian had killed 2 mighty figures and 3 six-star kings with a single strike, they were all stunned. Clang, clang, clang. The wine glasses in their hands all fell to the ground. Heavens! They weren't dreaming, were they? How could the other party be so powerful? These elders did not dare to believe it. Zhao Zhirua's beautiful eyes were also shocked, and the corners of her mouth twitched. She knew that she had misjudged this time. Although she did not know the young man in front of her, he was definitely at the level of a saint. Thinking of this, she smiled bitterly. Originally, she still looked down on the other party, but she did not expect that she was too ignorant. Everyone was shocked. Only Murong Qingqing had a smile on her face, because she had already guessed this result. Lin Xian also smiled as he raised his wine glass. He smiled and said that the wine was still warm so he could drink it. Lin Xian was tasting the wine, but the others were not in the mood. Now, everything they ate tasted tasteless because the news was too shocking. It was as if lightning had struck them unconscious. On the other side, the Qiyu family. The entire Qiyu family quickly moved. They invited the best doctors and alchemists to treat Chiyuka's injuries. Although Chiyuka's life was saved, his crippled cultivation could not be recovered in a short time. More importantly, his genitals couldn't be repaired either. This news made the patriarch of the Qiyu family extremely gloomy. With his cultivation crippled and his manhood destroyed, it could be said that Chiyuka's life was over. Although he was not killed, it was worse than death. When Chiyuka learned of this result, he naturally could not accept it. He screamed crazily, "Kill him! You must kill him! You must kill him! Avenge me! Don't worry, or we will definitely avenge you." A middle-aged woman held Chiyuka's hand and said with gritted teeth, "I will capture that kid and pull out his tendons and bones. I will let him taste torture 10 times more painful than you. And that woman, I will also capture her and make her serve you for the rest of her life. Don't worry, I won't let anyone who offended you have a good ending." The middle-aged woman's expression was incomparably ferocious. The Red Moon family head's expression was also ice-cold. He said in a cold voice, "What's wrong? The people I sent out haven't returned yet? Why would it take so much effort to catch a brat? Or was it that the Zhao family refused to let him go? Master, something bad has happened." At this moment, news came from afar. A martial artist ran over in a panic. His face was extremely pale. "What's going on?" The clan leader of the Qiyu clan asked coldly. "Could it be that they had captured that brat?" "No," the subordinate said, trembling. "Our men were killed." "Was he killed?" Hearing this, all the martial artists in the room were stunned. What kind of joke was this? Those were 2 supreme beings and 4 6-star king tiers. How could he have been killed? The Red Moon family head's face darkened as he gritted his teeth. Damn it, could it be that the Zhao family had made a move? In his opinion, only the Zhao family could deal with these powerhouses. "We don't know, but according to the Zhao family, that kid did it himself." The Zhao family didn't participate at all. Did that kid do it? What kind of joke was this? Did he really think that we were idiots? The Red Moon family head snorted coldly. The others in the room also had looks of disbelief. That kid looked like he was in his 20s. How powerful could he be? Even if he was a 6-star king, it would be fine. However, they had sent out 2 supreme beings. How could that kid resist them? It must be the Zhao family. Damn it, they've gone too far. Master, what should we do now? The person beside him asked. It seemed that the Zhao family was determined to protect the other party. So what if they protect him? Do they think that the Red Moon family is easy to bully? I don't believe that the Zhao family really dares to start a war with us. The middle-aged woman gritted her teeth as she spoke. She was Red Moon's mother and the wife of the Red Moon family head. At this moment, when she learned that the mission had failed, she was so angry that her face was filled with madness. The Red Moon family head's face was also gloomy. He snorted coldly. How dare they protect the murderer? I will definitely not let this go. In this way he sent more people over. At the same time he contacted the other families and went together. Tell them that our Red Moon family is being asked for an explanation. I don't believe that the Zhao family dares to make a move on the other big families. Yes, I'll go and prepare now. His subordinates, the elders, also began to move. This time the Red Moon family was really angry. Therefore they sent out a powerful team again. This time they sent 3 elite supreme beings, 5 supreme beings, and dozens of 6-star kings. There were also other kings. There were a total of more than 100 people, and they set off in a mighty manner. This lineup was absolutely terrifying. Not only that, they also contacted the other big families in the Qianshan domain. They were all on good terms with the Red Moon family. The other 3 big families also sent some people over. The 4 big families headed to Sky Star City together in a mighty manner. When they arrived, it was already the next morning. The sky had just brightened. The sun rose and the people in the city gradually increased. However, at this moment, a dark cloud suddenly appeared above their heads. Then a gust of wind whistled and a terrifying aura descended from the sky. It was as if it was going to crush the entire city. The martial artists in the city raised their heads and looked up. Then they screamed, "What's going on? Could it be that someone is going to attack the city? Is it a demonic beast? Or something else?" They were terrified because they realized that it was not a dark cloud above their heads, but a dense shadow. Each of them emitted a cold and terrifying aura as if they were going to break the world. It was not a demonic beast but a human. Countless people. Countless powerhouses. Many people exclaimed and even more people were shocked. Damn it, are they going to attack my Sky Star City? Stop fooling around, this is the Ninely dynasty. All the lands in the world belong to the king. Who dares to attack a city? Damn it, who is this? What are they trying to do? Everyone went crazy. More and more people looked at the sky and discussed animatedly. Even the people of the city lord's mansion were alarmed. Countless guards formed a formation as if they were facing a great enemy. He moved quickly, holding his sword and saber, and raised it to the sky. There was even a middle-aged man in armor who shouted coldly, "Stop, who are you?" In the sky, countless figures flashed, but they did not descend. This made the warriors and guards in the city heave a sigh of relief. However, at this moment, a cold figure stood out. It was an old man dressed in black. His entire body was emitting a black light. He looked down, his gaze piercing through the void, and said coldly, "We are from the Red Moon family. This time, we have joined forces with the three big families to ask the Zhao family for an explanation." The Zhao family? Ask for an explanation? What explanation? Chapter 2264. Since when did the Qiyu family go against the Zhao family? They did not know. And from the looks of it, the hatred was especially great. In the sky, the old man snorted coldly and said loudly. His voice was like thunder, clearly spreading to every corner of the city. "My young master Qiyu was crippled, and the culprit is now in the Zhao family. However, the Zhao family refused to let him go and even mercilessly killed the people we sent out. Until now, they have not even given us an explanation. Since that is the case, my Qiyu family has no choice but to come personally and demand an explanation." In the end, his voice was like thunder, causing everyone's ears to go numb. What? The young master of the Qiyu family was crippled? Are you talking about what happened 2 days ago? Many people were discussing. Obviously, they had heard about the previous incident. After all, it happened in Stellar Sky City. However, they did not expect that the matter was not over yet. Instead, it became more and more intense. It was very likely that it would evolve into a duel between two large families. Although the Qiyu family's overall strength was not as good as the Zhao family, it was still a large family. However, the Crimson Moon clan was a big clan after all. This time they had joined forces with the other three big clans. Even if the Zhao family was extremely powerful, it was impossible for them to remain indifferent. Moreover, from the current situation, no matter how one looked at it, the Zhao family was in the wrong. The scene here naturally alarmed the city lord's mansion. Immediately, the people of the city lord's mansion hurried to the Zhao family to inquire about the situation. The Zhao family also received the news. For a moment, countless Zhao family warriors looked up at the sky. Seeing the black mass of people in the distance, they frowned. What was the Qiyu family trying to do? They actually dared to join forces with the other three large families and come looking for them together? Did they think that the Zhao family was easy to bully? Don't be rash. The Qiyu family is the sixth prince's people. Unless it is absolutely necessary, it is best not to start a war with them. However, this does not mean that the Zhao family is afraid of them. Quickly send someone to explain clearly. The Zhao family's patriarch gave the order, and countless Zhao family warriors began to move. However, on the other side, Lin Xian stood up. He said loudly, "I said that I will deal with the Qiyu family alone. It had nothing to do with the Zhao family. So you don't have to worry." As he spoke, his figure flashed and he soared into the sky, flying into the distance. What? This kid wants to solve it himself? Seeing this scene, these people felt their scalps go numb. Although they had been shocked by Lin Xian's strength yesterday, the Qiyu clan was incomparably terrifying. They didn't just have almighties. There were elite almighties, pinnacle almighties, and even peerless almighties. If such a terrifying clan was angered, even if Lin Xian was a prodigy, no matter how strong he was, he would not be able to resist. Therefore, the patriarch of the Zhao family quickly sent people to follow them, in case something bad happened. A few elders hurriedly led the martial artists over. On the other side, after Zhao Jiruo received the news, she did not delay any longer. She quickly went to find Murong Qingqing. The two of them also flew over in a flash. In an instant, many young people from the Zhao family followed them. Buzz buzz buzz. In the sky above Tianxing City, the atmosphere was heavy. It was as if thousands of mountains were pressing down on them, making it difficult for the martial artists in the city to breathe. However, at this moment, a ray of light cut through the void and instantly cut through the heavy atmosphere. This made everyone heave a sigh of relief. Then they were all shocked. Who had come? Could it be that a peerless powerhouse had come? In the next moment they looked over. Then they were stunned. Because they realized that the person who came out was actually a young man, a very unfamiliar young man. They did not know this person. Many people were discussing, and a small number of people even exclaimed. Was him. He was the one who crippled the young master of the Qiyu clan. What? Are you saying that he's the murderer? Heavens, he still dares to come out? Everyone was extremely shocked. They did not know Lin Xian's true strength and identity. Therefore, in their opinion, a young man who dared to come out at this time was definitely crazy. Under normal circumstances, he would have secretly run away. Who are you? The martial artist of the Qiyu clan shouted coldly. Lin Xian looked at him and sneered. A bunch of idiots, I'm the person you're looking for. What? You're not convinced? Then do it. You're courting death. Those people reacted and were extremely angry. That kid was the murderer they were looking for? He didn't seem like much. Not only was he arrogant, but he was also an idiot. He actually dared to fight against their army alone. That made them feel that it was unreal. They even felt that there was some kind of trap. Sure enough, in the next moment, the sound of something tearing through the air came from afar again. Then countless people quickly rushed over. The first to appear were a few elders of the Zhao family. They stopped near Lin Xian, looked ahead and frowned. They looked as if they were facing a great enemy. Behind them, the martial artists of the Zhao family arrived one after another and also stopped in the void. Zhao Zhirua and Murong Qingqing also came. They came to Lin Xian's side. In an instant, the martial artists of the Zhao family all released powerful auras to resist the other party. In the sky, two huge forces of energy collided and tore through the void. A shocking crack appeared like a black hole. It was so deep that it could not be seen. There was indeed a trap. Seeing so many powerhouses and elders of the Zhao family, the Red Moon family's faces darkened. Kid, do you think that we can't do anything to you just because you have the support of the Zhao family? Let me tell you, if you provoke the Red Moon family, no one in the world can save you. Is that so? Why don't you try? Zhao Zhirua shouted. Although she was a woman, the aura on her body was incomparably fierce. Since when did the people of the Qiyi family dare to behave atrociously in front of the Zhao family? It seemed that the Red Moon family had become more and more presumptuous in the past 2 years with the support of the sixth prince. Today they would let them know the foundation and strength of the Zhao family. Seeing that the Zhao family wanted to stand up for them, the people of the Red Moon family frowned. However, the black-clothed old man only sneered at this. What? Just because the Zhao family is powerful they want to be lawless and bully us? The Zhao family is powerful, but you can't be unjust. That's right. Capturing the murderer is a matter of course. Why is the Zhao family stopping us? Could it be that there's some shady business between you? The people of the three great families also stood up. They sneered. For a moment, these people had pushed the Zhao family to the forefront of the storm. Those people below. They also began to discuss. Damn it, how dare these people slander the Zhao family? After the elders of the Zhao family heard this, their faces became incomparably ugly. Lin Xian sneered. Alright, don't waste your energy. I did kill them. Your young master Qiyu was crippled by me. The 2 mighty figures and 4 six-star kings yesterday were also killed by me. I did everything. It has nothing to do with the Zhao family. What? You killed them all? Chapter 2265. The people of the Red Moon clan were even more stunned. The martial artists below were discussing animatedly. This kid could actually kill 2 almighties and 4 six-star kings? Heavens, I'm not dreaming, am I? This is definitely fake. It can't be real. The people of the Red Moon clan also sneered. Kid, don't joke around. You think you can kill almighties? Who do you think you are? This was definitely done by the Zhao family. Isn't the Zhao family powerful? You dare to do it but don't dare to admit it? Or are you trying to be a coward? The people of the Red Moon clan sneered. The people of the other 3 clans also agreed. This time, the combined strength of the 4 clans was still not inferior to the Zhao family. Hence, they were unscrupulous. The martial artists of the Zhao family were furious. Lin Xian's face also darkened. Why, are you suspecting me? Fine, I'll prove it to you. Speaking of this, he took a step forward and clenched his fist. A sword light lit up between heaven and earth. Clang. Poof. Then the sword light disappeared. On the opposite side, a almighty from the Red Moon clan screamed as he was split in half. Blood stained the void red. What? He was killed. Everyone screamed in disbelief. The people of the Red Moon clan were even crazier, especially those who were closer. Their faces were splashed with blood. They trembled and their eyes were filled with horror. What was going on? They didn't have any time to react at all, and one of their almighties was killed. Damn it, what kind of technique was this? The people of the Red Moon clan were crazy, and the people of the other 3 clans were also terrified. The martial artists of Stellar Sky City below were completely stunned. Shock. This scene brought a huge shock to them. They were completely stunned. The Zhao family was also shocked. Fortunately, they had seen Lin Xian's technique yesterday, so they could still stay awake at this moment. Now believe what I said. Lin Xian's voice sounded between heaven and earth again. Everyone was stunned. What kind of strength was this to kill an almighty with a single sword? They didn't dare to imagine. When Lin Xian's voice sounded, these people even trembled. The whole world fell silent. Even the people from the Red Moon clan were scared silly. Lin Xian said coldly as he scanned the surroundings. I did cripple the young master of the Qiyu clan, but that was because he deserved to die. He coveted my wife's beauty and wanted to take her for himself. He even relied on his status as the young master of the Qiyu clan to bully others. They sent over a dozen kings to kill me. Let me ask you, if you were in such a situation, what would you do? What? So that was the reason. Below, when the martial artists in Stellar Sky City heard these words, they all started discussing. Many of them clenched their fists and gritted their teeth. Damn it, this Scarlet Crescent Drake was truly too detestable. That's right, he was the kind of person who used his power to bully others. He didn't expect to kick an iron plate this time. A person like him deserved to die. Not killing him was already a great favor. That's right. Looking at this kid's skills, he must be a peerless genius. How could such a person endure such humiliation? If I had such strength, I would have killed that young Master Qiyu long ago. Not killing him is already giving him face. I didn't expect the Qiyu clan to be so shameless. That's right, they inverted right and wrong and even tried to confuse us. How despicable. Hurry up and get lost. Angry roars came one after another. The martial artists below were all enraged. They were originally ordinary people. Therefore, what they hated the most was this kind of bullying. And this time, young Master Qiyu's reputation was already in tatters. Naturally, everyone didn't have a good impression of him. Seeing this scene, the Zhao clan members heaved a sigh of relief. The Qiyu clan members opposite them had gloomy expressions. They were so angry that they wanted to vomit blood. Damn it, the victim's identity that they had created had been exposed in an instant. Not only that, their current situation was very bad. The cultivators of Stellar Sky City below were so enraged. If they attacked together, it would be very dangerous. Damn kid, you're courting death. The black-robed elder roared with a gloomy expression. The time from when the other party killed their almighty to when he said this was too short. So much so that they didn't even react. Now that they reacted, the matter was already irreversible. Lin Xian snorted coldly. I didn't say these words because I'm afraid of you. I just didn't want people to misunderstand the Zhao clan and didn't want to drag the Zhao clan down. Now that the matter has been clarified, we can settle the matter between us. To be honest, in order to keep a low profile, I've already been very merciful. But you don't know what's good for you and dare to send an army to kill me? Since that's the case, you don't have to go back. Are you going to kill yourselves or do you want me to do it? At this point, Lin Xian's eyes emitted a cold light. As soon as this voice came out, the clamor below broke out again. Everyone's hearts were beating wildly. Domineering, too domineering. He dared to say such words when facing thousands of troops alone. One had to admit that Lin Xian's current figure was deeply imprinted in the minds of these people. The Zhao clan members were also stunned. Zhao Zhirua's eyes flickered as she looked at the figure, seemingly in a daze. Murong Qingqing, on the other hand, stood there with a pair of beautiful eyes and a faint smile on the corner of her mouth. On the other hand, the people of the Qiyu clan were so angry that they vomited blood. The four great clans had joined forces to suppress him. How dare he be so arrogant? He's courting death. Stop talking nonsense with him and quickly capture this kid. The people of the three great clans said coldly. They originally came to show off, but now, no matter how they looked at it, they felt so sullen. Naturally, they were embarrassed. Therefore, they asked the Qiyu clan to hurry up and attack. Go kill him. The three mighty figures snorted coldly, and 20 kings followed behind them. They turned into a torrent and quickly charged over. That's all? It's not enough. Lin Xian sneered, and his fingers quickly formed a seal. A Hell's Ice Lotus flew out from his fingertip, spinning in the air and quickly charging over. Boom 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 boom. In the next moment, the Hell's Ice Lotus completely exploded, enveloping the three mighty figures. Between heaven and earth, terrifying black flames erupted, and the power of ice filled the sky. In an instant, countless screams sounded. Soon these people fell silent. When all the energy disappeared, everyone looked up at the sky and were all dumbfounded. The three almighties and 20 kings were instantly annihilated, leaving nothing behind. They were all killed. These people's voices trembled and the people of the Qiyu clan went crazy. In fact, they were even trembling. The faces of the people of the three great clans were pale without a trace of blood. Damn it, who is this person? At this moment, the people of the three great clans were in despair, because they realized that they had been tricked. Before they came, the people of the Qiyu clan had told them that they were only here to capture a young boy. Moreover, the main reason they joined forces this time was to intimidate the Zhao family. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.